right, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. It is Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide. It's a Monday, and it's a good one. I enjoy my Mondays, and I'm sorry again. I have hanger shoulders on all these shirts because I've been doing a ton of laundry and catching up on things while I've been very productive lately. You ever have one of those stretches where you're just like, I'm going and go. I got it. I'm on a roll, and then like. You get like 85% done, and you're like, I'm starting to flag, but we must continue. It'd be nice if there could be a small lull, and then another 85% kind of like voomp, because then you'd be ahead. It's just a lot. I got a lot to do. And the holidays are here, and I got travel coming up, and so that's even exhausting to think about. Magoo Worldwide. It's not a bad idea. Magoo. Welcome to the show. Settle in. Get ready. There are so many things to cover today. We've got infighting, anti-rhino stuff. We've got election denialism from the nihilists. We've got, of course, the return of the Hunter Biden laptop farce, which is CBS decided to give a shot in the arm, which will also, fade like a fart in a stadium, just like every other time somebody's done this, like the Washington Post. The problem with this same lie is it's sort of a zombie lie, and then it stacks, and then people reference it without referencing the part that that story went to shit. They just grab the headline. So there's a certain point where, and I'm sure I will say unequivocally, Republicans are not the only ones that do this. However, it's bad. Don't do it. When you're just stockpiling headlines, the difference I would say is that I will stockpile headlines sometimes when the body of the article is contradictory to the headline. The headline actually supposedly disproves my point, and then hilariously we will read the article together, and it will poke holes in the headline, and it's hysterical. So that I'll keep. And I stockpile headlines as punchlines. That's how I'll call it. But the Republicans will do it, in contradiction to the actual merits of the story that they're in. Now, that said, we can't jump straight into that across the board. Although I will say, can we start off with someone new today? It's hard for me to find somebody, in this. There's a lot of recurring characters in this simulation / sitcom that we're all stuck in. We've got our Mike Pillow and our Diamond and Silk, and we've got our Bongholio, and we have the Flashpoint guys, Gene the Jesus Machine, Skank Kuhneman, Lanny Walnuts. It's a party. And it's nice to have those recurring characters, but occasionally you gotta, in season 3, is that what we are? No, I don't know. You gotta start adding new characters, otherwise I, as a viewer, get bored. I'm seeing the same people saying the same stupid shit with the same poor reading comprehension, and I gotta say, it's a bit of a drag sometimes. Like, we're all at this point, everybody in my audience, I have no doubt, could, along with me, do a Trump rally with the sound off, and all of us would know exactly what he was saying, and basically, like, we could vomit out the gist, if not the actual quotes from the whole fucking thing, right? So, this guy, though, struck me. This is on RAV, Real America's Voice. They named it because you're a fake American. They're the real Americans. Know your place, America. So this dude, I swear to God, he looks like a Chris Bono character. My buddy Chris Bono, some of you may know, I posted a picture on Twitter. He used to tour opening for me doing stand-up. Very funny guy. He moderated the panel that we did. And Chris and I did I'd have to say my favorite sketch on Talk Soup that I did was when Roger Ebert, Gene Siskel passed, and Roger Ebert was looking for somebody to fill in and be the new regular, so it would be somebody in Ebert. They were running all kinds of people through. They had like a dozen people. I think it ended up being Robert and Ebert, or whatever. Roper and Ebert. And we did Manson and Ebert. where I was Charles Manson, and he was Roger Ebert, and his Roger Ebert is just fucking. It was great. It was just so fun, and we just improvised stuff. Like, he would say stuff, and I had memorized a bunch of quotes from Charles Manson, and I quoted them verbatim. So he would, we would both watch a clip from a movie and then come back, and I would just go, yeah, Sparks and Ebert. It was Manson and Ebert. And so I'll show the clip of it at some point or whatever. But it was so fucking fun. And then at the end, we improvised the tail end, and he was just like riffing on, like, as the sound was fading out, he goes, maybe you should take a class, like maybe go to Toastmasters. And I was like, I'll go to Toastmasters. How do you like that? And I didn't have any shoes on, so I put my feet right in his face. And it was just one of these moments where you're just like, we were having so much goddamn fun. So anyways, this looks like a character Chris Bono would do if he got a fistful of, that has got to be, what are these shades of orange? Are these like Donald Trump number 5? Is that it? Anyways, he looks fabulous. No tie, but whatever. Okay, so this guy, Jeff, not even gonna. President Trump is the leading candidate. Yes, he's leading you all over a cliff. It's what Jeff. That's what a lemming would say. I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I also don't know why that's the standard. He's the lead. He's the least stinky shit farmer we have. There's no standard in this. Okay, hold on. Sorry about if there's an ad. Okay, it's quiet. Is the media a threat to America? Maybe. All right, it's a sponsored ad. Shut up. All right.
Let's get into some of these issues.
Let's get into these issues. Let's get into the ring. We're in the ringside. Oh, fuck me. Ringside politics, and he's got that's not a green screen they put that thing in. He decided to get a drape. He pulls a sheet down. He's got I have my green screen right here. Here, hold on. There you go. There's my office. There you go. But he's just got I got a ringside politics. We'll go end of the world. I've got a big Noah's Ark kind of a thing. Tales from the Crypto. I have a giant shot of a mausoleum. I snuck in after dark when I was masturbating on a sarcophagus and took that one. That's amazing. Try as I might, slave away in Photoshop, creating my little cutouts and all this shit, and never will I have the production value of the $1 million endeavor that is RAV. Shit.
Following, of course, this week, President Trump announced his 2024 campaign.
It's super exciting, and we're all here to yay.
I think he has every right to run again.
That's all right out of the gate. He's throwing, calm down. You're getting a little Jonestown right away.
I think he is still by far the leading candidate on the Republican side. He is running for a third time for president.
Yeah, this guy, look, some news people can be a little too overexciting. They can be too interesting. RAV knows this. And what happens if you're a Republican, you went into a coma in 1986, you're just waking up now, and they tell you that Trump was the president as a Republican, and you're like, oh, I slept through that? And you're like, yeah, and there's more. We got to ease somebody into this. So this is the guy they put on. This is in all Republicans who wake up in coma wards. This guy is playing nonstop.
President, I believe he has every right to do so after.
Yes, so you've said.
After what happened to him in 2020.
Yes, because he only served one term and he lost, he can run again. Thank you. My God, please tell me someone is recording this for the Smithsonian so that if ever, and by the way, make flip books out of this, because if we lose electricity, I want to recreate the America just like it was, and we're going to need ventriloquist dummy. He does have vague ventriloquist dummy vibes. I want to recreate the country exactly as it was, and I'm going to need his explanations to get it through this fight, Dallas. It has that's the policing aroma is 50% of the reason you use it. Whatever.
So President Trump is now on board with this campaign, and
he's on board with his own campaign. Did somebody talk him into it?
and he's going to be, I think, the leading candidate.
Apparently. So this is just RAV is like repeat everything America vivaciously.
So we'll see how it all plays out.
I think it's going to play out with him having the right to do it and him being on board with his own campaign that he has every right to do. But don't ask me.
You know, he's going to give as good as he gets. He's a counterpuncher. But
so he's got to wait until somebody punches him. He's a counterpuncher. So yeah. So just for the record, we don't condone political violence. Nobody punched Trump. And he'll have no campaign.
But he's got an incredible record that looks better every day of Joe Biden's administration.
Not so much.
Every day we say, hey, let's go back to that low inflation. Let's go back to that.
Let's go back to that high death rate under COVID. Let's go back to that pour bleach in, maybe inject bleach into your lungs might work. Can we give that a try?
Energy independence. Let's go back to that strong.
We are energy independent.
Military. Let's go back.
I'm sorry. Are you saying our military isn't strong now? Fuck you, buddy.
To that strong border.
What strong border? The wall made it worse.
And Biden has destroyed it all.
All of it. It's all gone. So I guess it was a great record. It was just really, I guess, delicate. Is that what you're going to say? Like all the wins of the Trump presidency were all just a house of cards. All poorly, and it's just crepe paper held together with spit and farts. And it just... a light breeze and the whole thing. He's like the first pig in the Three Little Pigs. Is that what you're saying?
So if it's a rematch between Biden and Trump,
I
mean, I would hope the American people would see that pretty clearly.
Yeah, they will. Trump will lose horribly. Please continue.
However, we've got a never-ending deep state hatred, harassment of Donald.
Yes, he's being harassed. Trump is currently up a tree.
Donald Trump. Now, Merrick Garland has just announced a new special prosecutor who is a hardcore liberal.
No.
Going to be digging into, again, Donald Trump some more. 2 investigations. They've got the Mar-a-Lago raid. And
they're not investigating the raid. It's the shit they found when they executed a lawfully executed and legally binding search and seizure warrant, I might add.
Of course, January 6th. They can't let go of January 6th, folks. That's their big narrative.
Well, people died in the Capitol. They built a gallows on the fucking grounds. Someone took a Confederate flag into the rotunda and walked it through the offices. They were chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," and that was the Republican president's vice president. In case any of the people who watch this guy as they're waking up from a coma don't know what he's talking about, and you went, who's this guy? And you flip over. I want to watch him, but I need some sort of like lube. Hi.
And they're trying to tie it all to President Trump.
Yeah, and he wasn't even president when that. Oh.
It is an outrage. It is absolutely an abomination.
But it has every right to be an abomination, and it's on board with the abomination. And I think it'll be, it's the leading abomination.
The one person they should be investigating is Joe Biden and Hunter Biden as well. But
and yes, about what?
Of course, they're not doing it. They've sat on the Hunter Biden laptop for 3 years and done.
Oh, that's why it broke. Someone's been sitting on it for 3 years. Also, there is no Hunter Biden laptop.
Nothing. So, yes, this is more harassment of Donald Trump, and he's got.
You mean his campaign? He's harassing himself? Like he's forcing him? Who's harassing this old man and making him run for office? This is terrible.
Got to fight through this. Another special prosecutor. What happened with Robert Mueller? Of course, nothing.
Mueller. Well, there would have been something if Barr had let him indict him.
2 years.
Also, Manafort and a bunch of others got, had to be pardoned by Trump.
And $40 million.
It's $52 million, and the thing made 57, I think, with property seized and other ill-gotten gains that were seized. So again, the Mueller investigation made money for the taxpayer. Congratulations.
And of course, in this case, what did he do? He didn't try to sell any secrets, any presidential secrets. He wasn't directing the January 6th, quote-unquote, insurrection. He said, peacefully and patriotically, make your voices heard.
No, he said, walk down there peacefully and patriotically, and when we get there, you're going to have to be strong. That's different. That's like saying, look, we're going to go down to that house. Don't play any tambourines. Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes. I need you to make sure you're not playing any cymbals as we walk down the street. We want to just kind of like blend in, get over there, wait till you're close.
Then, of course, we got the GOP folks electing in the Senate Rhino Mitch McConnell.
The GOP folks in the Senate are... I mean, Kentuckians?
To be their leader again. When are these people ever going to learn? I mean, when are they ever going to learn?
Yeah, why wouldn't they just, appoint Donald Trump as their de facto leader in the Senate as well, take all their cues from him, since he won them the House, oh, fuck. Right, I see.
The problem is Mitch McConnell. He's to blame for what happened on Election Day 2022. He's the culprit. He is the poster child for term limits. I mean, and then they reelect him 37-10 or 30.
Or 30-something, 30, yeah. One second, if I may. Need to check something. McConnell. There we go. There's thing. He is... Hold on. Where is it? There he is. Yeah. Mitch McConnell and Joe Biden are the same age. Actually, I think he's older. I want to say, he might be older. Yeah. Mitch McConnell was born, his birthday's in February. So a lot of noise being made about Biden serving another 6 years. Mitch McConnell was just elected to another 6 years.
38-10 or 39-10.
Or he will be if he doesn't.
It's crazy. That's the issue. Way too many rhinos in the Republican Party. Speaking of rhinos, I think Kevin...
Again, how do I interrupt this stuff?
McCarthy needs to go as House Leader. I think Ronna McDaniel needs to go.
Jesus Christ. These people are meaner to Republicans than I am.
As
they must be a mess. Kevin. What, Ronna? Did you see last night? RAV had a ventriloquist dummy on attacking both of us. He says Mitch is too old and I'm too old and we all need to go because we're rhinos and yet I'm younger than Trump by like 25 years and he wants me to go. Jesus, I don't know what to
RNC chair. Of course, let's not forget her real name, Ronna Romney. And by the way, where was Mitt Romney in the last election? Nowhere.
Maiden name. It's her maiden name. It's not her real name. Her real name is the name she took when she got married. Unless you don't believe in the sanctity of marriage. What the fuck?
He was trying to hurt Mike Lee. His chances of getting reelected.
Yeah, no worse than Mike Lee was.
Where was George W. Bush? Nowhere.
That's true. That's debatable about whether he would have helped or not, though.
The only guy out there working for the party was Donald Trump. We've got election problems.
You mean the guy who was raising money for himself at all these events and had his super PAC on the front of the podium every time to raise money instead of the candidates he was trying to help? And then he took money away from all those races whenever he came to town?
Problems, folks. And as the president talked about in his announcement speech, we need to go to same-day balloting. get rid of all this early voting, absentee voting, ballot harvesting, drop boxes. It's all got to go.
All of it's got to go, unless it helps us, in which case we need it.
And then we need to go to paper ballots. France does it. Almost 50 million people vote there.
38.
They get it done. They get the results known on election night. That's what...
Yeah, they tabulate with they write it in paper. They tabulate with computers, same as we do. The only difference is that people in some districts in the United States, they use a computer that prints out your ballot. You look at your ballot when it's completed, and then you run it through a tabulator. France uses electronic tabulators. They just don't have the voting machines in front of them, which are, by the way, isolated, basically input printers at this point. This is a hanging Chad argument from them. Oh, God.
Should be the case here in this country. And then, of course...
Yes, the Republican response to everything. We need to go back to how things were in 1947.
We do have some good news. I don't want to...
But with COVID.
Not focus on good news, and that is the House Oversight Committee with Jim Jordan and Representative Comer going to be going after the investigation of Hunter and Joe Biden.
Wow, Hunter looks tan.
And I think this is appropriate. They're going to focus on Joe Biden.
Oh, I see. So they found Joe Biden's laptop?
And the big...
That explains it. That's what all the confusion was. See, maybe they were just misspeaking this whole time because there isn't a Hunter Biden laptop. Maybe there is a Joe Biden one. Now I got to look into this.
Guys, connection to all of Hunter's misdeeds and corrupt behavior.
Alleged misdeeds and alleged corrupt behavior.
And I think they're...
Besides the crack and stuff, because his dad is connected to his son's drug use in that he called him trying and paid for his rehab and called him multiple times trying to get him to get help, which is awful, I understand. I mean, that's the thing. You know what? The Republicans are right. You know what the problem is? Parents involved in their kids' lives.
They're going to find plenty. Of course, where's the DOJ? Where's the FBI?
I think the main offices are on Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're too busy jailing people for January 6th. They're too busy going after Donald Trump. They're too busy going after pro-life activists.
I will say those folks give them a lot of extra work. It'd be nice if those assholes stopped criming.
Too busy going after parents. And finally, we've got some...
Jesus Christ, like the spike on this guy's fucking mic. Oh.
Good news as far as social media.
Thank God we've got some good news as far as social media. Elon Musk is turning Trump's account back on just to fuck Truth Social with a sandpaper condom on and bringing Ye back just so people can go. So they actually have like charts of anti-Semitism that can have the occasional spike.
Maybe Twitter is going to be turning into more of a pro-life platform. Some important conservatives have now had their platform returned. Others are still being banned.
Oh, well, did you guys get all that? Yeah, I mean, it's so much consistency and so much cleanliness and clarity in a message. And sometimes it just washes over me. It's like a blinding light. What?
So it's not a full victory for free speech, but certainly to me, it's a move in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, crawl space. Listen, the child porn is not covered under free speech. Just can we settle that? Like, there is no absolutism to free speech. You can't express whatever the fuck you want. And you are giving me major crawl space vibes right now.
The hardcore
he looks like is he related to, he looks like a deflated Louis Anderson, you think?
Liberals are gone now, and the liberals don't want to see Twitter as free speech oriented. They thrive on censorship. They need censorship. They can't.
I've been censored multiple times on Truth Social. And by the way, mostly pictures, which say 1,000 words, all of which are true.
Win in a debate. They've got to shut us down and prevent
No. Believe me. Where would I be without creepy Peter Lorre-esque news balloons like yourself, sir?
our views from being expressed. And that's why we got to fight them all the way. Because
where you got to fight them to? Is there base? Is there some place we can go to not be fought? Are we always in a fight when we step out our front door, or do you just mean slacktivist fighting like an asshole?
What they're trying to do is anti-American. It's an attack on our constitutional rights.
Coming from the guy who shit on our military about 3 minutes ago. Oh, that's the end. They just kill just ringside politics, wins by knockout. Man, I'm glad I picked that one. Just RAV has a great primetime lineup over there. It's just, and the nice thing is that they realize halfway through that we're all getting disgusted by the overall picture, and they put up these weird montages of pictures that they purchased as part of a graphics package that they run all fucking day in all of their shows. I shit you not. This is Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. I don't pick these clips out of a greater show and say, this part I thought particularly looked like shit, or they made fools of themselves. No, they post these as emblematic of their argument and quality of performance. And to that I say, well, let's take a gander. Okay. So now, that was our one venture into the outside realm. Now from the sublime to the ridiculous, from the amateur to the absolute professional, and a topic that I obviously don't really get upset about when people bring it up. Ladies, oh God. How do you solve a drunkard like Maria? Ladies and gentlemen, Maria Bartiromo. China runs secret police stations in the U.S. Christopher Wray. Okay. This has been a story that's been going on for a while. The Chinese government has been running these private police stations in a lot of other countries. Norway, Finland, UK, they're starting to run them out, basically. Let's get over 300 Chinese spies have been broomed from European countries in the last 6 months. Now, one would think, considering the story around the Biden laptop, the Hunter Biden laptop, that supposedly China has Joe Biden in their pocket. They've got control of the man. They've got compromising photos of his son that we've all seen of him smoking in a bathtub, dear God. And napping while smoking crack, which, the man must have like the worst somnia I've ever seen. But the Chinese government has been putting these secret police stations in. Now, these police stations are under the guise of foreigners, Chinese people who are living in the United States and other countries, going to school and that kind of stuff, have to keep up their driver's licenses and that kind of, so it's really just kind of a DMV thing. And the way their legal system works, they just kind of need this. It's a whole bullshit story. But we're driving them out. Now, the story would be, if you're keeping with the myth that they've been pushing, is that these things started after Biden got in office. Instead of these things were there all during Trump, and the Biden administration is getting rid of them. One would think if Biden was under the thumb of China, they would have some sort of protected status, would they not? All right, here we go. This is Biden administration has been, quote, very weak on China. Rep Hearn. Not to be confused with Heen. All right.
Yeah, that was Florida Senator Rick Scott questioning FBI Director.
Okay, asshole. You can't play a clip and go, yeah, that was a clip, and not show me the clip. Who cuts these? I'm not going to go hunt that down. Are you nuts? I didn't cut the clip out of this person clamoring. You started it. Start off with the clip. What is there, a time fucking limit?
Director Christopher Wray last week, Wray confirming the Chinese Communist Party has secret police stations in the United States so they can monitor, harass, even blackmail those who are critical of the Xi Jinping regime. Joining me right now is Oklahoma Congressman Kevin Hearn. Congressman, thanks very much for being here. We talk a lot about the CCP on this program.
Yeah, and never get anywhere.
And I've been raising the alarm on these police stations. Your thoughts on the fact that the CCP has a police station in New York?
not anymore.
Maria, it's great to be with you. First of all, I think we all have to recognize China is our greatest threat, and we've got to start acting like it.
We are.
If you go all the way back to Eric Swalwell and what the Democrats have allowed to happen with him.
What did they allowed the FBI to warn him about somebody who was trying to get close to his campaign as a campaign bundler, and he told her to go pound sand, and the Chinese flew her back to China, and she hasn't been heard from since? That part?
Having an affair with a known spy, the refusal to allow us to...
Again, the affair part is, insofar as I know, alleged.
Look at Hunter Biden and China relationships over the last 2 years, which we will do starting in...
Wait, Hunter Biden and China and their relation over the last 2 years? Hunter Biden hasn't worked with Rosemont Seneca since 2019?
January, and seeing the connection to the Biden administration.
There is none.
What it's done to this country.
You mean the infrastructure bill? Yes, I will say it is true. The Biden administration does have a connection to this country.
And now we see the Secretary of Homeland Security and the DOJ and the FBI
under Joe Biden
acknowledging that they know these police stations exist.
And how long have they been here?
But for national security purposes, they can't talk about it. And then when you go and actually talk to the Chinese about it, they say, oh, no, they're not police stations. They're to help our citizens with their driver's license.
Right. We know the backstory on this.
Yet they won't tell us where they are. So it's really suspicious. China is a bad actor, and we have to start doing something about it.
Well, if they don't tell you where they are, then they don't exist as primary places. Like the ones in the other countries were literally called stations, like China Station or whatever. They had it's in the wording on the outside, if you can read Chinese, was basically said Chinese police, Jingcha, Jingcha Chang, like they had literally like a police place.
About it.
Well, I mean, you touched on a number of really important issues there because...
Yeah, it did.
You're right. Christopher Wray keeps telling us that the CCP is the biggest threat to America. The CCP is our biggest adversary. But what are they doing about it?
What are they doing? Here's a question. What is the new Republican majority going to do about it? Are they going to introduce a bill that makes it a violation of our national sovereignty for any country to have a police force or police without permission, obviously, because we work with people all the time when they're trying to track fugitives and shit like that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have lovely movies like Rush Hour or Black Rain.
You've got spies everywhere you look here.
At Fox?
Right, Eric Swalwell and Fang. You've got Hunter Biden and his secretary. They have...
His secretary? What? All right, that's just... let's just say that's just made up. What the fuck is with his secretary? What does the secretary have to do with this? I have a secretary, and she is dynamite.
Infiltrated virtually every industry in this country.
Yes. Apparently... 2 places. As
Mike Pompeo has said to me many times, the CCP is now inside the gates. So what do...
Yeah, thanks to the Trump administration.
We do about it at this point? And do we have a president that is compromised and unwilling to actually hold the CCP to account?
Are you fucking kidding me? Hold on. Can I show you guys one thing real quick? This is like an example. I tweeted this video out, but I just want to show you guys something real quick. Just the title of this, I think, says everything. Where you go? To watch list and history. Go back to this thing. Doobie-doo. Yeah. Here you go. Let's see if I can go this. Hold on. This is a video by John Coogan. This is 3 days ago. Let me show you something. This title is America Just Killed China's Tech Industry.
America and China are officially at war.
Which is what would happen if your president was under the thumb of China, because this is what they want.
At least,
I don't know who's using a Spitfire, but
economically speaking.
人民子弟兵永远是保卫祖国的钢铁。
For the last few decades, China has been waging a covert economic war through state-sponsored hacking, corporate espionage, and market restrictions. The United States is now responding with a huge set of policies aimed at keeping China out of the market for semiconductors, telecommunications equipment, optics, and artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I tweeted that out, that article out, or that video out on my Twitter. Just for the record, there is nothing about the CHIPS Act and the denial of not only the usage of high quality chips from the Taiwan semiconductor companies or from our own Intel, NVIDIA, and others, but the fabrication machines themselves. Yeah, we're dumping that shit. We're dumping their access to it. They can't use any of it. If we were in the position where Biden was compromised by China, they would have greater access, not less.
You know, one thing the Biden administration did when they first came into office, and when you talk to them privately, as we did on Ways and Means and other classified briefings, is that...
Yes, tell us what happened in classified briefings with the Ways and Means Committee.
They understood the importance of what President Trump did in going after China. No president had ever done what he did in going and directly confronting them on the issues they have and dealing with us in America.
Yeah, as long as they didn't eat into Ivanka's profits and her trademarks that she got.
And the Biden administration has been very weak on follow-up to that.
Really? Okay, hold on. One more second. I got to pull this page. Give me this guy. Drag this down here. Hold on. U.S. curbs on microchips could throttle China's ambitions and escalate tech war. Let's just jump through back here. Let's see. U.S. export restrictions of powerful chips to China hurt now, which should prove bullish long term. Ken Griffin warns U.S. faces immediate Great Depression if China seizes what? Taiwan semiconductor tech industry. Yeah, it won't happen. But, you know, these are the things that if you're president, you know, like, it's not like he said we're going to defend Taiwan. Here you go. This is the Carnegie Endowment. Biden's unprecedented semiconductor bet. Why the U.S. cut China off from advanced chips. How Biden short circuits China. Like, this isn't even a question. The Atlantic. Why Biden's block on chips to China is a big deal. Like, this isn't one of those, like, we're shaving a little bit off here and there. There needs to be a fact check sound effect or graphic that flashes across the screen every time Hal has to school someone's ass. That'd be nice. It's not a bad idea. Like, fact check. Like the moron you know moment, you know? Hold on, let me see it. Like, let's see. Fact check. The moron you know. So, yeah. Opinion. How China is fighting the chip war with America. By losing. That's how. U.S. tries to enlist allies in assault on China's chip industry, which is what you would do if you were completely on the take. I can't do Financial Times because it'll steal it. U.S. export restrictions of powerful chips to China hurt now. Okay, we looked at that one. What do U.S. curbs on selling microchips to China mean for the market? Clamp down on China exports the most consequential. Here you go. This is a conversation. Consequential U.S. move against China yet. I don't think people understand the enormity of the fuck you to China that the CHIPS Act alone was. That's why it was bipartisan. It's why it passed as easily as it did. Anyways, you think this douchebag has any idea about it? By the way, have you seen the price of oil? What'd I say?
Even Kevin McCarthy, our soon-to-be Speaker of the House,
even as somebody as dumb as him,
everything continues to move in the way it's going, has asked Speaker Pelosi 2 years ago about putting in place a select committee on China, and she refused to do it. He tried to get a bipartisan committee to get, this should be a bipartisan issue. This should be
It is, dummy.
Democrats caring about the sovereignty of our nation and what China's doing. And so,
By the way, he's on House Ways and Means. He knows what he's saying is a lie. He knows, Kevin Hern, Republican of Oklahoma, knows he is full of shit as he's saying this.
Kevin McCarthy has said that in January, we'll set up a select committee on China to investigate all of these tentacles of
what he means is COVID.
China is doing inside of our borders.
Yeah, he joined me yesterday on Sunday Morning Futures, and he talked about his China Select Committee that he is putting together. Todd Pyro, jump in here. One of the issues here is donations. Companies that have a big China exposure are big donors to the Democrats.
You mean giant tech companies with a lot of revenue and a lot of workers in the United States and that are stampeding out of China right now? Hey, anybody know where the AirPods are now going to be made? Yeah. Anybody? Hold on. Can I show you? Let's see if I can find the news on it. News. Quit. There you go. Vietnam is luring tech giants out of China with flashy infrastructure projects. Even as Apple and others move suppliers in, the boom has its skeptics. Yeah, people who are invested heavily in China. By Lam Le, right? Hanoi, Vietnam. By the way, you guys know that? Hold on. Do you guys know about the 1979 Sino-Vietnamese War? Do you know that China attacked Vietnam in 1979? Most people, you guys. You guys know about that? By the way, the Vietnamese kicked China's ass, drove them out. It was enormous. Part of the reason is because the Vietnamese had cut their teeth on fighting the Americans for so long, they were just more ready for it. But there's a lot of like anti-China stuff in Vietnam because of it. Yeah, here it goes. Let's see. Historically, China previously given Hanoi steadfast support against U.S. forces in Vietnam, but their comradeship swiftly began to deteriorate in the mid-'70s, especially when Vietnam joined the Soviet-dominated Council for Mutual Economic Cooperation, Comecon. No. And signed the Treaty of Friendship and Cooperation with the Soviet Union, then China's greatest rival. In 1978, China called the treaty a military alliance and branded Vietnam the Cuba of the East, pursuing hegemonistic imperial dreams in Southeast Asia. In December 1978, Vietnam began a full-scale counterattack against Kampuchea, today's Cambodia, whose armed forces had launched a number of unilateral clashes across the Cambodian Vietnamese land and maritime borders between 75 and 77, leaving more than 30,000 Vietnamese civilians dead. Vietnam's incursion into China-friendly Cambodia, which quickly eradicated the genocidal pro-Beijing Khmer Rouge regime, coupled with its intimacy with the Soviet Union, was massively building up forces in the northern border, appeared to threaten China's security and interests in the region. Thus, China's leader at the time, Deng Xiaoping, had good reason to urge the government to teach a proper lesson to the Vietnamese. It's worth noting that even prior to the war proper, incidents along the Sino-Vietnamese border had increased in frequency and violence since the mid-1978 when Deng came to power and began consolidating his paramount leadership by creating an effective tripod: control of the state, the Communist Party, and control of the military. Deng had seen off the rival threat posed by ultra-Maoist Gang of Four, headed by Mao's fourth wife, Jiang Qing, and his well-reasoned strategy to modernize China required the removal of obstructionist Maoist Liberation Army cadres. They would fight back later on. August 25th, 1978, Chinese troops crossed the border into Vietnam to assault officers, women, and local people. Le Dinh a local policeman fought back with his bare hands and was stabbed to death by a group of Chinese people, Chinese soldiers. Chin is thus known as the first Vietnamese soldier who fell in Vietnam's fight against the Chinese invasion. This incident set an ominous signal of looming armed conflict between the two brothers. I don't know where the brothers thing comes from. Totally different ethnicities, totally different languages, but okay. After a few months of serious, that's like saying, you know, the Germans and the Poles, the brothers, why were these brothers fighting? After Germany invaded Poland, why, brothers, will you not settle down? After a few months of serious and careful preparation for a military ground campaign against Vietnam, in the pre-dawn hours of February 17th, Chinese spearheads, supported by 400 tanks and 1,500 artillery pieces, concurrently attacked in the direction of Vietnam's border provincial capitals when residents living there were still sleeping. Owing to its large population, huge disparity in economic and military capacity vis-a-vis Vietnam, the PLA relied on human waves of ragtag soldiers, a tactic used nearly 3 decades before in the Korean War, and a scorched earth policy to conquer Vietnam. These tactics enabled Chinese soldiers to completely destroy everything in their path, overrun population centers, and occupy strategically mountainous areas and high spots along the border. These areas then became sites of low-profile yet deadly conflicts, which took place throughout the following decade. Yeah, that happened when I was 10. Well, yeah, I was just turning 9 at that point, 79.
Well, that's the real reason, right?
It totally is.
I mean, obviously, follow the money.
Follow that money. Oh, you mean Ivanka's money? Trump ties being made there, Trump hats.
Less of a policy question, Congressman, and more of a defense question. We can shoot a missile.
Can you say something like really fucking macho, bro?
Thousands of miles away and hit an area the size of my hand. But you're telling me that we can't find Chinese police setting up shop in our country?
You don't use missiles to do that. And if you were able to do detective work with that level of precision, you'd need, I suppose, some sort of AI targeting thing with a large tracking mirror from space. Project Crossbow. This is just stupid. You can tell me that we have like laser-guided missiles and GPS, and we can't find a murderer who killed someone in the mid-70s? All right.
I understand that it's secret, but come on. We should be able to find these people.
Well, it's either one or two issues. It's either this government doesn't care, or they're just they're complicit in the problem,
or they're looking for them actively, just like they just fucking said. Because if they didn't care or they were complicit, then certainly in a period when Trump was in office where they didn't seem to give a shit, these guys were here.
And I will tell you, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, I've called him to resign multiple times. I've met with him. He's been,
because as a border state congressperson, I have my concerns.
A complete failure. He needs to be impeached. What was going on the southern border for the last 2 years is an atrocity. 100,000 of our citizens have died from fentanyl coming across the southern border.
No. Also, largely during the Trump era. Like literally the 100,000, the first time we reached 100,000 in 1 year was April to April 2020 into 21. Biden was sworn in January. His policies, even as they were put in place nearly immediately, wouldn't change the trajectory of drugs that had already entered the country. And Trump, after he lost the election, had all but given up on actual governance. He had 2 jobs, trying to get the election overturned and pardoning his asshole friends.
And now we're finding one more issue that he's allowed. Somebody's supposed to be protecting our homeland since 9/11, and he's doing a miserable job. And he's been around this administration since 2005 under President Obama. So, this.
Yeah, but he wasn't in charge of this shit.
This guy knows what's going on. He's just incompetent and needs to go.
Well, I mean.
And look at this kind of like self-satisfied smile on this guy's fucking face.
Maybe, as a viewer just texted me, maybe.
A viewer just texted you. Would that viewer be Donald John Trump.
The FBI should be raiding the Chinese Communist Party's police stations rather than raiding President Trump's home.
Yeah, that viewer is Donald Trump. Yeah, that's exactly it. Audience of one.
How about taking politics out of the FBI? I spoke to Republican House Leader Kevin McCarthy yesterday, and he was talking about all the lies around Russia, and that's one of the reasons he is vowing to remove Adam Schiff from the House Intelligence Committee, one of 3 Democrats from congressional committees he's about to take out. Watch what he said.
You have Adam Schiff, who had lied to the American public time and again. We will not allow him to be on the Intel Committee either. And you look, Congresswoman Omar, her anti-Semitic comments that have gone forward. We're not going to allow her to be on foreign affairs. But
You could always cite one of his lies if you're going to kick Schiff off for lying, and it's that egregious. I would just quote him. Which one?
we're also going to stand up to what's happening, not just in the halls in Congress, but what's happening into our higher education institutions, the anti-Semitism that's going on these campuses and others.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're saying they should cancel the Kanye show?
Congressman, your thoughts?
Well, a lot of things to unpack there. Again, going back to China, but you look at what Swalwell and Schiff and Omar have done, and the Democrat Party's been complicit in allowing them to, do these things and not hold them accountable.
Do what things and hold them accountable? How? These are just. I have to say, there's politispeak, and then there's this. He's just picking sentences out. These are the kind of things that are bad for America. We want to do things that are good for America because what's been going on, am I right? It's just, this is something that can't be allowed. And we're not going to be the ones that will allow it to not be what it's doing. Okay, is time up?
And, they talk about a couple of tweets of our members and did something unprecedented. Speaker Pelosi pulled them off committees. And these folks have done something.
Couple of tweets? Just a couple of tweets? What were those tweets? Quote those things. This guy is like, he's like, remember anybody ever eat generic food when it first came out where it would just like white can, word beans on it and a stripe? That's this guy. Just like politician. It's like he needs to wear a white suit with a stripe at the top and a stripe at his ankles that just says politician across it.
Egregious to our national security. There shouldn't be any concern from the Democrats or anyone else about our future speaker.
By the way, when was she on The Voice?
You're taking them off committees. But when you talk about China, I'd like to expound on it a little bit more.
Please, I expound at all.
When you look at they're buying our farmlands, they're buying lands around our military bases, what they're doing with our food.
Okay, the land that they're quote unquote buying around our military bases is Chinese people linked to the Chinese government, which is always, an issue, but buying like stores nearby. And the idea is like, oh my God, they're going to coat the Fruit Loops with some sort of COVID disease thing. And people are going to pick up their breakfast cereal and then they're going to take it to the base and everybody's going to get rhonorrhea. And, and the farmland part, it's actually the food processing plants that they have a stake in that's more crucial.
Food processors and taking over our supply chain on our food inside of our country. What they're doing on our higher education campuses with these Confucius Institutes and trying to radicalize and institutionalize some of our American citizens.
Yeah, it's less about that. It's basically them just following Chinese students while they're here, trying to get them, if they start speaking out, there's always somebody nearby to go, your mom's sitting in her apartment right now. It'd be a shame if anybody was to push her out a window.
And finally, what you look at the impact on our supply chain and our economy. One could argue that, they're threatening our friends militarily, but at the same time, they're holding our economy hostage with their supply chain issues.
Yes, because if we don't have plastic shit made with third-generation substandard chips on the regular, that's going to destroy our economy.
I think the American people are tired of this, and that's why you're seeing a change as well from the Democrat Party to the Republican Party.
Yeah, that's not happening at all. As a matter of fact, if that was true, you guys would have taken the House and the Senate, and you fucking well didn't. The only reason Republicans took the control of the House this time around was redistricting. Without that redistricting, there's no way it would have fucking happened. It wasn't ideological, and it won't hold. Trust me on this.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, you've got the DOJ attacking soccer moms and the DOJ coming after Trump supporters. Christopher Wray would not eat.
First of all, coming after soccer moms, I think she means like treating parents as terrorists and whatever just because they're parents. No, it's because they threatened to blow up the vice principal's house.
Even answer the question on whether or not the FBI had confidential human sources dressed up as Trump supporters at the January 6th Capitol breach.
Hi, fuckhead. Listen, they didn't have confidential sources dressed up as Trump supporters. They had Trump supporters, real live Trump supporters, who were okay with marching, okay with shouting, okay with rattling some, bike racks, but we're not okay with the storming the place and beating up cops and all that other shit. And they phoned it in. They're like, yeah, this is fucked up. My buddy's losing his shit. He's gone a bit Q to the right of me. And that's not getting people to dress up and pretend to be somebody they aren't. That's somebody who is that way, but isn't that far down the fucking road, who's gone, yeah, I got to keep you guys posted, because if a shot because they might actually think this hurts their movement if somebody pops off or leads some, a small group in some major violence. So they're cool about turning them in because they're doing it to help their own side in their mind. These weren't people like playing masquerade. This wasn't charades. These folks were legit Trump supporters. But the other reason you don't say, yes, we have them, is because you'll get them killed. Not that Maria gives a fuck.
Breach. That was incredible as well.
Oh my God, it was incredible.
Congressman, we're going to be following all of this, and we so appreciate your leadership. Kevin Hearn, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
How fucking boring. Jesus Christ. Okay, sorry. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, welcome. Hey, chat room. Hold on, let me bring you guys up for a second and say hello before we get into our next one. 1 second. How do I spell chat? I spell it like that. Okay. Okay, and 3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, there they are. Get in there. Populate. Hi, Francie. Hi, Mr. and Mr. Hiya. Hi, hello. Hi, Hot Dog Lips. Thanks for being vanilla. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. It's a flavor. It's not a base. I'm just saying. Vanilla is its own flavor. That was Fox Business. Yeah. Feek is Zorg 2024. Sure. No laptop. Still. We'll get to that in a second. Que pasa? Que to the pasa, man. Thanks, Lori. I'm glad you could be here. Appreciate you guys being here. We got a sizable group today. 2,100 people in my chat right now. 2,173 as I see it. And that's not just that's the people chatting. That's not you who's just watching. And that's not even you who is watching and hasn't hit the like or subscribed. Pressure. So, anyways, army of supporters, sick 'em. No, I'm sorry. I won't do that. Like and subscribe if you would like to. And if you don't, you can't. That's fine. It's all right. It's totally okay. I mean, I'll just keep being charming and entertaining you for free. And slow chat mode, please. I can't. It won't actually do that on here. This is what I look at. This is my chat. This is what I see. So, yikes. Bless you. 5 eggs. All right. You want 5 eggs? Hold on. You want 5 eggs? You got 5 eggs. That's what I got. Right now, the title of this one is Cowardly Backstabbers in the GOP and the RNC are trying to split the party. And they even wrote it like that's a 90s font right now. I like that. The production quality at Lindell TV is just eating shit. I'm very disappointed considering where is all that. If I was Mike Pillow, I wouldn't audit the vote. I'd audit Brannon House because clearly whatever money he is throwing that dude's way is not making it on screen. And this is nothing against the magnificent talent of these two ladies. I'm just saying shit 90s graphics and your weird, like, pseudo-Christic Nazi emblem version of, like, I don't know, America has 8 real states in it, whatever the fuck that flag, and 3 stripes. Jesus. We'll find out. Anyway, so here we go.
Hey, 99% of people with an IRA or 401k will not see this video, and that would...
That's right.
I was going to let it go. I was going to let it go. But then when I look at things, I can't let it go.
We can't let it.
You cannot let it go. Unless you are, I guess, a Japanese metal band, like Loudness. Let it go!
I got to keep...
Let it go! Sorry. It's one of my favorite Japanese rock music videos. Just saying. It's a great video anyways. So it starts with them in the woods, and a tree gets chopped down, and the tree gets cut, and then it goes down a river, and then it gets cut into planks, and then one of the planks ends up getting shipped to this one place, and it ends up on this thing, and they cut out a guitar out of it, and then they sand it and do all this stuff, and it rolls down like a conveyor belt when it's all finished and shiny as a guitar, and then Akira Takasaki, the guitar player, picks it right up off the thing and starts the solo. I'm like, that's just fucking awesome. Come on now. Rock and roll crazy nights. You are the hero tonight. Love it. So, yes, Boogers and Mesh, Ham and Cheese, Diamond and Silk, Gristle and Slats, Can't Let It Go. Let it go.
Talking about
That's right.
the backstabbers. Now, I can't stand
Yes, I can't stand the rain and backstabbing.
backstabber.
No, don't. She's about to backstab some rhinos, I guess, because they're not there. So, but I guess it's revenge. So.
You know, a backstabber is like a coward.
A backstabber is like a coward. Okay, sure.
A backstabber.
What if they're stabbing someone in the back who's running away and is a coward? You know, if they wait till they turn around, it'll never happen because the person that they're stabbing is a coward. Maybe they're stabbing them for cowardice. I don't know. The whole thing sounds very ugly. I'm not interested.
Backstabber is like a coward.
Okay.
And I'm looking at our GOP and the RNC on how they're trying to split the party.
How dare they? Just that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to split the party. That's what they want to do. That's what they're trying to accomplish. Paul Ryan.
How they are undercoverly doing some...
Yes, they are Unducubly, which is David Duchovny's second cousin.
And I'm looking at our GOP and the RNC on how they're trying to split the party. How they are undercoverly doing some backstabbing.
Unducubly. All right.
To do it. You see what I'm talking about? So
no.
I see all of that right there. And so when I see that the GOP and the RNC is trying to pick somebody other than Trump, to me, that's backstabbing.
Straight up backstabbing.
To me, that's a coward move.
That's right.
Or, never mind.
I want to put that.
I don't know. I don't want to help. My first instinct is always to be helpful. I want people to understand. I want people if I see them in stressful situations and kind of tied up in knots by their hoisted by their own logic petard. I want to act. I want to intervene. I want to throw myself under that bus for them. I got to fight off that tendency
out there. Now, I'm going to talk about this because I've been looking at the fees. I know y'all think I don't, but I'll be looking at the fees and
feeds. I think she's saying not fees. I don't think the RNC is charging for backstabbing now, although I wouldn't put it past them.
You got some people, they still saying, oh my God, DeSantis.
Are they? Is that how they're saying it? Oh my God, DeSantis. Said fucking no one ever.
Now here we have President Trump. He's been harassed, slandered, investigated, persecuted, wronged, harmed. And y'all think he ain't supposed to have no feelings.
No, I think he's supposed to have feelings. I'm just shocked he never seems to have any other than, egomaniacal vindictiveness and gluttony. He's got 2. I wish he would have like 7 more feelings. There might even be something to argue with.
He can have all the feelings that he wants.
That's right. He can. He can feel perturbed. He can feel bemused. He can feel a sense of ennui if he wants to. So much so that there's a wee tape. Not my business. I just don't think he's capable. I think he burned off. It's not because he wasn't born with those feelings. We all are. I think he burned them off a long time ago.
That's right. And let me just say this here. Somebody said, tell President Trump to stop doing this, stop doing that. Stop throwing shade. President Trump ain't throwing no shade. He's shedding light on a coward. Now,
I see. Yes, he is not throwing shade at DeSantis. He's shedding light. I mean, he can't help it. It just, when he puts his arms out and like this, it just exudes from him in a Christ-like wave of orange, fuzzy, slightly gooey light.
Now, let me say this. Y'all can say, oh, Diamond, you always talk about somebody. So, is anything...
Yes, I was going to say, oh, Diamond, you always talk about the what?
On my back. It just feel like something on my back.
Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
Did you see anything on me? Okay, listen. Y'all
it might have been a giant spider. There's a giant spider on your back.
get up off my back. Because y'all know I'm going to talk about somebody. But that's what my body pin.
Her bobby pin worked its way out and was falling down her back. That's incredible. That's some Princess and the Pea stuff.
I know I ain't going to do nothing but talk about somebody. Listen to me.
Here's an idea. Lozenges. Okay, go ahead.
You all keep saying President Trump need to keep people away from him that don't mean him no good.
That's what.
Why would he surround himself with people that don't mean him any good?
And now that he shed light on somebody that stabbed him in the back that don't mean him no good, now you all want to act brand new. Now, which do you want it?
I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that one because I'm smelling almonds and I'm feeling like a light. And I think my knee hurts and my lower spine has gotten, I'm like completely paralyzed from like my tailbone just down my right ass cheek. I think it's, yeah, that's too, I'm over quota with stupidity. I don't know what the fuck that was. Do you know what that means? Back that up. I'm going to have to say that again.
Somebody. Listen to me.
Okay. I was listening the first time and I really tried. Please explain to me. What?
You all keep saying President.
Okay. All right. You know what? It's not her fault. It's not her fault. She's not misspeaking. She is quoting maggots that are writing something in the chat. You all keep saying, this is what they're saying. This is not what she's saying. This is what they're saying.
Need to keep people away from him that don't mean him no good.
That's what they're saying.
And now that he shed light on somebody that stabbed him in the back that don't mean him no good, now you all want to act brand new. Now, which do you want it? I ain't throwing no shade at DeSantis. I'm just shedding light.
Just shedding light.
What do you want?
That's right. Well, it's like we're like light snakes. We shed our light once. It's like light molting. It just happens. You cast off the old light and get new. I don't know what the fuck is this. What are they talking about? This video is only 3 minutes long, and I'm not used to being this confused unless Don Jr. is talking. Shit.
President Trump.
Some bright light.
Okay. All right. Thank you for, I don't want a dim light, right? Where I have to is he shedding light or am I losing consciousness?
Yeah. What do you want him to do? You want these people away from him. He shed light. Now you get all upset about it. Listen, I'm for Donald Trump. I'm for Don, not Ron.
That's.
Don, not Ron. Hashtag Don, not Ron. I think we see the beginning of a movement. Hashtag Don, not Ron. Also, yes, and all of his graphics will be done as in stop animation on a light bright. Excellent point, Dark Brandon. Hashtag down not wrong.
That's right.
And let me tell you something. Don't
Something
y'all
else.
get it twisted and think the grass is greener on the other side.
Oh, it is not. Oh, definitely not. No. It's swampy as shit down there.
Because I cannot believe a party, the GOP and the RNC, that will push a man up in our face that we really don't know, and you think we're going to go along with that?
Along with it.
No, I'm not going to go along
Well,
with that.
if they're going to push federal.
Well, they didn't know. You didn't know Trump when he was. Oh, I guess because he was famous. You mean it's got to be somebody famous? Okay, gotcha.
Up in your face, and then steal it for him and say this is who gonna lead right here, and he can't even put two words together to form a sentence.
Right. Thank God. You know what I mean? Because clear and concise communication is crucial to the entire argument. You can't have somebody just word salading 5 or 6 sentences together and expecting people to just be motivated by that. And
Yeah, the
That tells
Democrats
you
is crazy.
everything
They'll
that you
put
need to know.
anybody up in front of us. Look at who Biden.
All right, that was it. That's the whole fucking thing. Hold on. By the way, if you'll notice who, this is what it recommends. Elon Musk leaves Trump faith, Twitter poll, YouTube censorship with Kurt Metzger. Thank God. 30 seconds of it. Ugh, that's more than I can take. Let me see something real quick. I want to grab something over here that was, I think we have this. 1 second. I want to grab a video that was on. So much to cover. Oh, here we go. Isn't he lovely? Isn't he beige, the shade of blue? Ladies and gentlemen, Rep. Matt Gaetz, which, is on my list of future Bundys of America, says this is why McCarthy won't get in. Now, that's get in. I mean, he's a House member. I mean, he's elected. Do they mean get in as Speaker? Let's see.
Oh, Kevin.
By the way, brought to us by the most miserable man on the internet, Greg
McCarthy. Quite frankly, I don't see him as a leader. Do you? The Republican from
No, for the record, I don't. Not for the same reasons you don't, but so we're not in agreement. You know what I mean? There need be no agreement that water is wet.
California has been, the word is, desperate to be Speaker for a long time. But is he desperate to
His fucking his Twitter handle is GOP leader.
make America great again? I don't know. Take a look at Congressman Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida.
Now that's leadership. You need a lot of sketchy friends and a big fucking forehead. You need to be on the future Epsteins of America list, and you got to be at least 4 feet away from Marjorie Taylor Greene in her colonial overcoat.
In my opinion, he has earned the trust of millions of Americans.
Really? Dude's never run for statewide office. Slow your roll there, chump. You're not on the bus. Your blather has to have some constraint.
Intelligence, his intellect, his passion, and
his friend who makes fake IDs for teenagers and has a connection to people who can get ecstasy so you can dose teenagers and fuck them and then fly them to other states, allegedly.
He's totally unafraid in my book, and it looks like he's unafraid to challenge Kevin McCarthy, or at least say, you don't have my vote. Congressman Gaetz, welcome back to Newsmax.
Yeah, you don't look creepy at all. Also, you do realize you're having a guy on who says he doesn't have my vote and I'm not backing him, and it will have zero fucking impact.
Good to see you. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling great. I can tell you Kevin McCarthy doesn't have 218 votes to be Speaker. He doesn't have 200 votes. He doesn't have 190 votes, and that's because it's more of the same. And in Congress, we need to turn...
By the way, if Kevin McCarthy doesn't have 200 votes, Matt Gaetz doesn't have the other 18. He doesn't have 21 votes. Are you out of your fucking mind?
turn the page. We need to get away from the corrupt system that puts the lobbyists and special interests in charge, and we need a fighting Republican majority. It's one I don't think Kevin McCarthy can lead, and that's why we're trying to find alternatives to a return.
He means Jim Jordan, with basically Jim operating as his puppet.
To the status quo. I think the American people didn't vote for that in November.
Let's, the results of the election aside.
Yeah. And the fact that you guys should have run away with it, but for redistricting in Florida and New York, it would have been the worst trouncing in 80 years instead of 40.
You must have had concerns about Kevin McCarthy before Election Day. Can you go through them? What are the deficiencies?
Yeah, just make a laundry list. And then after that, list all the things about yourself that are amazing.
Well, Kevin McCarthy thought that Donald Trump should resign after January 6th. And
he said negative things.
When the chips are down, you're either fight or flight. And after January 6th, Kevin McCarthy was all flight. I also saw in this last election cycle that McCarthy invested millions of dollars.
By the way, it's very hard not to interrupt, but it's also very hard to interrupt because who gives a shit?
In Republican primaries against America First candidates.
Oh, no.
In favor of establishment candidates.
And me without popcorn. This is terrible.
In many cases, the America First candidates won their primaries, but because they were hobbled by Kevin McCarthy's...
But because they were hobbled by their own messages and the goddamn electorate.
Millions, they weren't able to coalesce the Republican electorate to be successful in a lot of districts throughout the country.
That was a question of RNC money, was it? You think people didn't know what the candidates stood for? You think the voters in the Republican areas weren't motivated to vote for them because they didn't know what their priorities were? Really?
And I also remember when Dan Bishop, Republican from North Carolina.
Oh yeah, Dan Bishop. Who doesn't run who?
Put forward the ouster of Liz Cheney initially when she betrayed President Trump, when she betrayed our voters and our party and our movement.
She did stay true to like ethics and principles though, and the Constitution. And I know that for you, that's not a choice at all, but for her, it was sort of a Sophie's choice.
It was Kevin McCarthy who stood before the conference and said that he vouched for Liz Cheney, that he needed Liz Cheney in the leadership team. And when I just verbally criticized Liz Cheney, Kevin McCarthy was caught on tape saying that he thought I was endangering people, perhaps fomenting violence just with verbal criticism of policy positions. That's not somebody built for this moment. This is going to be a very slim majority.
Greg seems confused. I think someone changed the channel on him. You know about that story about like in Australia in Brisbane, some guys hacked a billboard and put porn on it. They had a video billboard and they like a traffic billboard, and it's they put porn on it. That looks like what happened to Greg. Like he's hearing Matt Gaetz, but suddenly, White Bun Busters finally came on, and he's like, who cracked my Pornhub results?
And we're going to have limited time to investigate deep and intense corruption from the Biden administration. And we don't need someone whose first instinct is to back Liz Cheney, attack America First Republicans on the campaign trail, and suggest that Donald Trump's path is one of resignation rather than resurgence.
So we're...
Yeah, anybody who would have said right after January 6th that Donald Trump is on a path to resurgence would have been fomenting more violence at the time. He's just trying to stack our words together like a prick.
Where do things stand right now? You say he doesn't have the votes. There is this...
Yeah, definitely. I was on the bus.
Kind of fake news expectation, and even folks in the conservative universe who think, well, Kevin...
Yeah, the conservative fake news people even think
he's got it locked up. It's a fait accompli. That's not true. So you're telling me, where do things stand now? What's going to happen next?
Yeah, catch us up.
Well, on Tuesday, there was an election in the House Republican Conference. Kevin got 188 votes. 36 people voted against him. And since then, none of the 36 says they've changed their mind. In fact, 4 members of the Republican Conference have come forward to say that under virtually any circumstance, we would not vote for Kevin McCarthy on the floor. So now we are in a process of elimination paradigm. And just like me and my 5 America First friends might have a veto over who the Republican speaker would be, I have to acknowledge that even the more centrist, even the more moderate members of our caucus hold that same veto.
And there's a lot more of them. There's like 80 of them now. And they're like, you know what? We're sick of this shit. We're taking the party back over, and we outnumber these America First fucks like 10 to 1.
So we must now find some Republican,
We must now find some American that everyone can call us, and we think that the person is a Steve Bannon.
Person on the planet Earth that doesn't have 5 people who want to vote against them in the Republican conference. And I'd rather do that now on the front end rather than install someone who doesn't have broad support throughout the conference, who hasn't earned the trust of our members, because we're ultimately going to have to govern with about a 4 or 5 seat majority. So let's start with someone who has broad credibility across the Republican conference.
Which none of the centrists would believe that about that person. If Matt Gaetz thinks someone has broad support, if they had somebody like that, that person would already be speaker. There is no one.
Not someone who's burned bridges with the America First crowd, with conservatives, and certainly supporters of President Trump.
Hey, you said somebody on the planet Earth. Now, that means we can look outside the House of Representatives.
Yeah, he's thinking Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin, anybody like...
which I believe is actually legal. There's a provision where you can take somebody who's not a congressman. I want to pick up on that when we come back.
Greg thinks he's going to be Speaker of the House. It just, like a little flutter happened in what's left of his heart and went, I could do it. Everybody likes me.
And also, some of the highlights in your congressional career, in my opinion, as well, that I want to point out. We'll be right back.
Oh, dear God. He'd only come on if they made a montage.
Oh, what a tweet.
Oh, man, this tweet hotness. Hot tweets. Hot tweet McCarthy, McConnell, McDaniel, McFailure. McFillet of fish.
Stating Matt Gaetz can tweet McCarthy.
Oh, my God. What?
McConnell, McDaniel, McFailure. Ouch. Ouch. That is a...
It would help if McFailure was an actual word. Jesus Christ.
Good tweet, Congressman Gaetz.
I chubbed a little when I
as you're good at Twitter.
You're so good at twittering. Yeah, you. Like he's putting off serious, like if Butthead had a baby with Patrick Bateman.
And I want to ask you about Congressman Lee Zeldin. You know, he ran a great race here in New York State, almost
so great he lost.
Beat a Democrat.
Yes, that's what I consider a great race from a Republican, when they lose.
An overwhelmingly Democratic state. He's not going back to Congress as a congressman. The great Miranda Devine in the New York Post said he should be considered for the Speaker of the House.
No.
Tell us how this is technically possible, and is it possible that Lee Zeldin could be the next Speaker?
No.
There is no requirement that the Speaker of the House be a member of the House. And maybe in these times, having someone divorced from the interplay of the floor of the House of Representatives, someone who could rise above it and lead our institution, would be very advantageous. I look at Lee Zeldin, I read Miranda Devine's piece, and it was quite persuasive. Without the sweeps of New York congressional swing races, we would not even have a majority. There are 2 places in the country where Republicans vastly overperformed, Florida and New York.
where they redistricted to benefit Republicans on purpose.
And I think the Zeldin campaign was focused and disciplined, and it created an updraft for all of our candidates.
Specifically, by the way, the Democrats put forth a congressional map, and the court rejected it, and the one that they came up with favored Republicans in a strip of votes, a strip of districts in a row.
I don't think there's anyone in Congress who has a negative view of Lee Zeldin, but, you know,
unlike the half the voters of New York.
We've got other former members that
more than half.
Might be interesting wild card candidates as well. People like Tulsi Gabbard. Hey, we may even have to dust Newt off. He's tanned, rested.
Holy shit. So these are the other options. Lee Zeldin, Tulsi Gabbard. Never fucking happen. I mean, please. Newt Gingrich. Do it. I want to see that shit happen. I want to see these dickheads actually give him the gavel. I would argue that one of the best ways the Republicans could lose the House quicker rather than not is to put somebody in that's not currently in the House. Because you'll have people flip or retire or get out of a district and it'll go Democratic because everybody will go like, what the fuck is this nonsense?
And ready as far as I'm concerned. But Lee Zeldin, someone I think highly of, someone I know is widely respected across the conference.
Nope.
He's not campaigning for the job, but certainly the piece in the New York Post has a lot of folks thinking.
All right. And I think that this is totally impossible. It wouldn't happen, but
Donald Trump.
Conceivably, it could happen. Donald Trump elected as Speaker. I mean, it's theoretically possible.
No, it is not.
They were talking about this a year and a half ago. It had some momentum in a weird way, but that's not going to happen.
I talked to the former president about it, and I did not feel the rod tip bend at all as I pitched this prospect. And look,
feel the what?
And I did not feel the rod tip bend at all.
I did not feel the rod tip bend at all in this direction. Ew.
As I pitched this prospect. And look, there are probably 5 Republican votes against Donald Trump for Speaker.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to
more than that
recognize the paradigm we're in. We are going to have.
Yeah, let's just say, can we just enjoy that for a minute? Can we just stop? Stop, everyone. Stop. I know everybody wants to get these people, and Trump's going to take over, and it's come back, and now he's running for president again. He's going to stop. He's not raising anywhere near the money he needs to run to keep it going. The first fundraiser is just going to be absolute shit when they have to file. And it's just going to be gorgeous, the whole thing. And it's going to be a bunch of sketch money from Saudi Arabia, and it's going to be great. But the fact that this fucker is having to say Trump couldn't even win as the Speaker of the House from the Republican Party. Yeah, the rod tip bending thing is a little bit, penisy.
A leader who has broad consensus across the Republican conference,
which Donald Trump does not have. Think about that for a second. That's fucking hysterical.
It won't be Kevin McCarthy. I wish it could be Donald Trump. It probably won't be, but we're going to have to have that type of message discipline and also a focus on these investigations to be able to really move the ball. I mean, Biden's still going to be in the White House. You're going to have Chuck Schumer running the Senate. So the way to get wins for the American people necessitates a focus on the investigations into the corrupt practices of the Biden administration. And then,
hold on. No. If you have a slim majority in the House, accomplishing something to show people you can govern would theoretically be the way of doing it, not hammering away at done and dusted conspiracy bullshit that has no impact on fucking anyone.
And connecting those corrupt decisions to the pain the American people are feeling at the gas pump, at the...
Yes. Yeah. What line of questioning would you bring up to Hunter Biden and John Paul McIsaac about inflation.
Grocery store, at the kitchen table when reconciling bills each and every month. We have to also be tough on the spending fights to come, and I don't think Kevin will do it. Maybe a guy like Lee Zeldin would.
All right, and by the way, we need you in those investigations. Nobody cross-examines like you or just the way you conduct these things. But I do have to ask,
oh, good.
Are you interested in being Speaker?
No, I am not running for Speaker.
Because I don't even have my own vote.
I understand that maybe I rub a few people the wrong way. I don't have a lot of...
Yes, 17-year-old girls.
...friends in Congress, so it would probably...
Yes, you are incapable of building real friendships, except like you've had sort of like transactional, sycophantic proxy relationships with other lunatics.
You need to be someone a lot more effective at building consensus with every...
Right. Exactly. People who can function in Congress and a representative democracy.
Than I am, but I want to be on the front line of the fight. I want to be...
It's not a fight, fucko. This is, I mean, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Chenk language. Like, this whole, like, we're going to fight, we got to fight, fight. You're not fucking fighting, dummy. Even committee hearings aren't a goddamn fight. The most you could say is argue on behalf.
Be the person reviewing the documents, taking the depositions.
Yes, what are you going to do? Punch the fucking documents? I uppercut this Excel document, and then I got this redacted copy of a report, and I put it in a headlock, and then I started kissing on it as it blacked out, and then I forgot where I was.
Holding the witnesses to account, making the criminal referrals to the Department of Justice, holding the Department of Justice accountable for
the people that were held accountable so that they hold accountable the accounted people that were accounted for.
Own violations of procedure and law. And certainly in the Armed Services Committee, I'm very focused on getting this wokeness out of our military. What they have done to our military, and I know you care a lot about this, it has really...
No, he doesn't. He panics about it. That's not the same thing.
Really devastated my constituents who love our country, who are patriotic Americans.
So they don't love the country anymore? They're not patriotic anymore?
And we are going to find every bit of this wokeness, and we are going to unroot it from its very, very center in the soil.
Unroot it from its very, very center in the soil. It's like a John Ashcroft song.
And this, sir, is where...
Let the eagle soil. Let him soil on your... boil like before.
You've impressed me a lot over the years, but...
Hold on one second. I feel left out in this conversation. Hold on one second. Let me get this. Why is this happening? I need a... Get back in here. Trying to find something. Give me a second. I don't know why, my app is being strange. We'll figure it out. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. There you go. I don't like either one of these the mean people. I think they're not good. I think a mean person, and I don't know about you, but he give me very strong, playground van vibes, if you know what I mean. So no, he's one of those people go, I'm one of your mom's friends, and he doesn't even know the secret word.
When this happened, you took on General Milley, and...
Oh, no. General Mills makes some of my favorite cereal.
Not a lot of members would do that. He was talking about woke this, and, he wants to know about white rage, and you interrupted him, and...
That's terrible. You should never wash your white rage with your color rage, because it will blend into and have rainbow rage.
And you really started going after him in a way that, and you were just baffled.
It's nice that they got fresh video of him, not stuff that's old.
We're amazed at this character who's wearing a general's uniform. And
He is a general, but though he's not playing dress up. Was it Halloween?
Anyway, the thing that I really liked about it was, you're a civilian and you're
yelling at a man who served in the military.
Not afraid of taking on a 4-star general. You know that the agencies, they use that against members of Congress, the men and women of the State Department, the men and women of the Pentagon. And I think a lot of folks in government, in elected government, forget that those agencies are here for us. We're not there for them.
That's right. Like some people in Congress, for example, they forget they work for people. They're not there to be all shiny and have slick suits and their hair slicked back and all that stuff. They work for people. So it's not even like they're in the people's house. That's why they call it the people's house, not the steeple house, which are in the hill and the thing, and then open up and all the people.
Serve the people.
Right, people. He served the people. I heard him say that.
And I think you're pretty good. I think you know that, and it's exempt.
I don't know what you're saying. I have to say, completely honest, he lost me. He lost me a moment ago. I kind of thought, oh, I'm finally understanding what he's saying. I was wrong. I have to back up. I thought he would say something all totally different.
Exemplified in how you question these guys.
Yeah, even he doesn't know what you were saying. He's going to have a hard time answering. He's just going to have to fall back on polito words.
Well, I appreciate you saying so. I represent a lot of the great war fighters and patriots who make this country great, and I often try to channel what...
You also represent Florida man. There's a lot of Florida man in his district. A lot of naked men in thongs or whatever eating cheesecake in the bayou in the swamp after midnight. That kind of stuff. A lot of people trying to have an alligator as their wife. Like his district is full of it got a school and it's got a lot of woods and it's got, people who eat that crocodile drug.
Just regular Americans would want to know if they had these folks in front of us. But for the last 2 years, I've only had 5 minutes to ask these questions. Now that we're going to have subpoena power.
Oh my God. That 5 minutes, that's for him, that's 3 whole dates with a girl.
I'm going to have hour after hour to delve into the decisions around Afghanistan, how we've fallen behind China.
Are we in Afghanistan?
With hypersonics.
But we haven't.
How we have not been able to correctly assess the will to fight with almost anyone in the world. And I am...
Okay, I don't know what that was at Ado. I had it for a minute. I was like, I got 2 of those sentences. And then the last one messing me up. Yeah, sorry, I've been working out. I don't know, I've been to the gym a lot. Because I help my mom with the groceries.
I'm proud.
People make fun of my muscles.
Now to stand with Marjorie Taylor Greene and others to demand accountability over all of this cash and military equipment that we've sent to Ukraine, oftentimes in violation of our own procedures regarding end-to-end chain of custody of that equipment. So,
well, that's because you want them to call somebody in Russia and tell them where it is. They got to keep it a secret from you and Marjorie Taylor Greene, because you'll call someone in Russia on your little WhatsApp burner phone and go, we sent it to, they're going to really go into Kharkiv because we sent it to Kharkiv. Or we sent it to Kherson, don't believe the hype.
We've got a lot to get into. We have to be ready to start at the beginning of January. I do not believe that Kevin McCarthy is the leader to have the right vision and focus for those.
Yeah, you guys should fight about this for the next 2 years. That would be good.
Investigations, but my goodness, that work is critically important to the...
It's pronounced my goodness.
Safety, security of our country, and just to our ability to be a successful, prosperous nation where all of our people can be the best version of themselves.
I am the best version of myself. The government doesn't make me the best version of myself. What kind of commie baloney is this?
I run this by you. Your thoughts on January?
Oh, deal. I have to go. This is going to be grown-up stuff.
February 6th. I mean, there's so much about January 6th that was not highlighted by the
this fucker's going to jump in and say Ashley Babbitt, isn't it?
January 6th committee, the security failures, the Capitol Police securing the Capitol with bike racks, Capitol Police just letting people in, and of course the death of Ashley Babbitt. Is this something?
By the way, can I just point out that this fucking coward calls it the murder of Ashley Babbitt all the time. Until somebody from Congress is actually sitting on his show. And then he backs off and calls it the killing. The death of. What a piece of shit.
That I know you're concerned about.
Good
Do
idea.
you have any thoughts about how to shed light on it and get some answers?
Well, Kevin McCarthy has said he would disband the January 6th Select Committee. I would repurpose it. I would take their snarky little Twitter account and I would pump out 14,000 hours of video so the American people could see what really happened. Because we had a lot of folks who had no intention of violating the law that day.
They just did.
But the criminal acuity was increased because of the actions of people who worked for the federal government.
The criminal acuity. That's adorable. That's like, all right. Congratulations. We have just forgiven, I guess, every rioter in the country. Now they were just protesting, but because somebody, set fire to one thing, the criminal acuity went up, and they just followed right along. As long as you're the third person attacking a cop, it's really not your fault. Right. 5 eggs. Seriously. I don't know where hold on. I had oh, I know. Wait, hold on one second. Is it on there? Is that why it's not? Hold on. Where did it go? Where did they go? I lost my 5 eggs. Where did they go? Where have they gone? Crap, I have to reconstitute them. You guys can do it. 5 eggs in the chat if you think this is the 5 eggs clip of the day.
We've already seen reporting showing that the FBI had informants in some of these paramilitary groups that they've criticized.
Yeah. And without that, their guns would have gotten closer. Like some of those people talked those people out of bringing their guns to the actual Capitol, which saved fucking lives.
And I want to know, was that day more violent, more criminal?
Ashley Babbitt was a hero. She saved the life of the guy she punched in the face seconds before she died in order to go through the door first. Yeah, because it would have killed him. That's true.
More deadly as a consequence of any of the assets or agents or informants that were under the auspices of the federal government. And if
the auspices,
if we just disband the committee, if we just pretend that this never happened, then you know what? It will probably happen again. This archetype scenario that we saw in the Whitmer, phony kidnapping debacle, and then on January 6th.
People went to jail for that, just saying.
Where you actually have the feds doing all they can to try to booby trap people into a dynamic where there's criminal consequence for what would otherwise be a misunderstanding or something.
No one who beats a cop with a fucking Blue Lives Matter flag, a pole with a Blue Lives Matter flag on it specifically, is the victim of a misunderstanding. You fuck.
Something that certainly wouldn't rise to some sort of charge.
Yeah. I mean, why are we even charging people when they physically attack police at this point? Isn't that just part of the job?
I wouldn't disband that select committee. I would repurpose it. And I would get to these folks who have been used as pawns, as political pawns. People got locked up, got put in solitary confinement, not because
they spit on guards and said, I have COVID.
They were a particular danger to the country or going to overthrow the government, but because Joe Biden wanted to scare the American people that anyone that was MAGA or America First was a threat. And you know what? We're not a threat. We are.
No, you're not a threat. People who would physically attack cops on the Capitol steps are a threat. Especially the ones, many of them, by the way, who did that went right the fuck home. They got a trial date and off they went. The ones who are still in jail are the ones who said, fuck you, yeah, if you let me out, I'd do it again. That's what you do with a violent criminal who has no remorse. Or who says, I wasn't there. Now, these people filmed themselves, so none of them had a defense about not being there or not doing what they did because they literally filmed themselves criming.
Patriotic, God-fearing Americans.
Bullshit.
And we will not allow these violations of people's civil rights to go unanswered.
You mean the cops who had their physical person assaulted?
We're so glad you're there, Congressman.
Yes, so glad. So glad. Thank God. Maybe Greg Kelly can sleep soundly tonight on the bus on the way home.
Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, to be continued, sir, and good luck. Many thanks.
Thank you, Greg.
All right.
You are Greg, right? Is it just me, or does Matt Gaetz always have that look on his face like he's not sure what show he's on? Where am I?
All right, we'll be right back.
No, you won't. That's all I can take of that. You're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Happy Monday, by the way. Good times. I will not be doing a show on Wednesday this week. I've decided because I'm traveling on that day. Normal show tomorrow, and then I will be back on Friday because Thursday is Thanksgiving. So I got to take some family time, and then I got Saturday radio show. Should be all good. And the morning show on Friday will more than likely be at not a sort of regular show, but like a chit chat on my dad's porch, something like that. If that's all right with everybody, different change of scenery, so I can be Hal Sparks, man about town. I will also be slightly drowsy from tryptophan from the night before because I am in the family. I'm known as the guy who eats everything. I am the one with the biggest appetite, and I finish everyone else's food. Yes, I will. Sure. It's the ESP hour with Greg and Big Ed. Yeah. How will you do that on your dad's porch with your dad? Yeah, I'll have my dad come out and say hi. It'll be up to him. Let everybody make their own decisions, but yes. Yeah, family show. Matt Airbag Gates ass hat. Patriots assemble. Thank you guys. Okay, let's move on because I got a bunch of stuff tonight. And I want to I always feel bad when I chip away at these things. Hold on. Where's this one? Oh yeah, get rid of this one. I have to close some of these things so I can get rid of some of these files that are just open when I'm doing this. Okay, now, today, considering the CBS thing, and I covered it this morning, and I'm going to do a full-blown expose on the bullshit of the Hunter Biden laptop. This is Bill Hemmer looking at us all like he was just hitting the ass with a shovel. I think he has John Paul McIsaac on. Now, every time they have this guy on, it's 4 minutes. By the way, this is called, if you'll notice down there, it says the Hunter Biden investigation. So they've got a whole chyron set up for this. Incoming GOP House majority to investigate Hunter. Sorry. Here we go. Now, let's see if John Paul McIsaac, he says he faced retaliation. I expect it to continue. No one's retaliating against him. People are just calling bullshit.
Republican majority in the House promising to investigate Hunter Biden, the president's brother, and ultimately the president himself over their...
Where apparently they are hiding in the rotunda, which we can guess from this magnifying glass in front of the Capitol. Wouldn't Hunter and Joe be under the magnifying glass and the Capitol in that sense be holding the... Never mind.
Their business.
Right, I guess the elephant is holding it, but they're looking at the Capitol. You're not going to find Hunter or Joe there, actually.
Dealings. What can we expect to learn from that?
American Injustice. Oh, his book's out. My Battle to Expose the Truth. John Paul McIsaac. FBI rider? Something. I can't make out what the bars are supposed to say behind him where he's standing alone. American Injustice. By the way, super shitty graphic. You make it an American flag, but you can't. It just looks like I Can Injustice.
Want to bring in the laptop repairman whose new book, American Injustice, is out tomorrow. Details what happened after he discovered Hunter Biden's...
he found his hat was missing.
Infamous laptop. John Paul Isaac is with me.
Mac Isaac.
Now, sir, how you doing? Good morning to you. And we've spoken before. Welcome back here.
And you spoke to him before, but you fucked up his name.
Couple things I just want to update our viewers on a couple. You worked for Apple for 6 years, and then you started your own shop. You fixed Apple products and Mac computers. Were you the one who was at the counter when Hunter Biden dropped off his laptop?
Unfortunately, yes. I'm sole proprietor, so I was the only one.
Yes, he's confused by the CBS story where the store just claimed that there's no store. It's just him
in the shop when he came in.
Unfortunately, yes. What the fuck does that mean? Because he's just a disgusting human. Well, you didn't know it at that time, did you? Oh, no, I hated him when he came in. Really? Kind of gives us a little look inside why and the wherefore of how you might have ended up in this situation.
Refresh my memory. Did you recognize that it was him at the moment?
Dude can't see 6 inches in front of his face.
You know, I really never cared enough about the Bidens to pay attention to what the offspring looked like. So I did not recognize him. It wasn't until the check-in process when he announced who he was, and then also I kind of put the pieces together when I saw the Beau Biden Foundation sticker on one of the laptops.
Was that immediate or was that over time?
Here's a question, and this is one I posed to everyone. The Beau Biden sticker on the laptop, vinyl or fabric, like a backstage pass? That'd be my first question. Was the sticker vinyl or was it fabric, like a backstage pass? Because one of them was actually made by the Beau Biden Foundation for stuff. More than likely, it was a backstage pass kind of a thing for an event or something when you had a sticker on it, unless it was a vinyl one that was just for, promotion of the thing itself. And it's weird that this, I put two and two together when he said his last name was Biden and his first name was Hunter, and then I read Beau Biden's sticker on the, I was like, hang on, let me get this straight.
It was kind of, it was, at first I thought when I saw the Beau Biden sticker that this was actually Hunter's deceased brother's laptops, because often is the case that a customer will come in with,
we've seen him tell this story,
with equipment that belonged to a deceased loved one, and they want to get the data off. So I figured this was no different. It wasn't until the next day when I realized that the person that came in my shop was also the person that starred in a lot of the homemade porn.
Wow.
So you were leafing through the images on it while you were copying stuff. In the first 3 hours you had it. You didn't do, again, you're copying stuff from a hard drive to another or trying to do a data retrieval, and you're looking through the data as it happens. Starred in some of the homemade porn. All right.
Okay, yes.
Okay, yes. All right. I like.
And you quote an FBI agent as saying, it's our experience that nothing...
Just saw posted that CBS says laptop in Hunter's dies. Anyone know anything about it? What do you mean? Laptop what? In Hunter's what? Dies, knows anything about it? What do you mean? I'm missing parts of that. I mean, I saw the CBS story. We went through it.
Ever happens to people who don't talk about these things.
Yeah, this is what the FBI agent supposedly said to him. This is
our experience that nothing ever happens.
Okay, hold on, back up. The FBI agent Joshua, or Agent Joshua or Agent Mike, said.
And you quote an FBI agent as saying, it's our experience that nothing ever happens to people who don't talk about these things. What do you remember from that conversation? Basically, they were saying, don't go anywhere with this conversation.
No, they're saying, if you keep your mouth shut, you might live. Oh, Magic Mike, the FBI guy? Yeah, right.
Well, and I kind of was asking for it because, first off, when the agent showed up to my shop with a subpoena, I don't think, and those FBI agents had ever seen somebody so excited to be handed a subpoena in their life. I was overjoyed. And in the excitement when the agents were leaving after they confiscated all of Hunter's belongings.
By the way, he kept a copy of the hard drive that he had made for himself. He did not honor the subpoena if indeed this story is real at all.
I made a comment to Agent Mike. I said, "Don't worry, lads. When I write the book, I'll change your names." And that's when Agent Mike turned around and told me that in their experience, nothing ever happens to people that don't talk about these things, which was kind of chilling. But out of respect, I did change Agent Mike's name in the book.
Wow.
But I am calling him Mike here.
Oh, wow. Okay.
His real name is Mike, though.
So here's Jim Jordan just last week on
again. He just called him Agent Mike. What the fuck are you talking about?
Okay. On what we might get to eventually. Listen.
Also, by the way, we are 2 minutes and 45 seconds into a 5-minute bit about this. We are retreading that same comment, which is that the FBI threatened him. This is a whole other ball of wax. The idea that Hunter Biden even dropped the thing off or it was really him, they just glaze right fucking past that. He does not mention, again, that this guy can't see 6 inches past the tip of his nose because he has a visual problem. He can only see stuff within 6 inches of his face. Everything else is a blur. And he'd never met Hunter Biden before. He can't pick these two agents out of a fucking lineup if they were real. And they do this weird thing about if anyone comes back asking for this laptop, let us know and we'll bring it back. Stall them for 24 hours. It's the biggest pile of bullshit that's just embarrassingly stupid.
So we've went from it wasn't his laptop and it was...
Oh, this is the same shit we saw the other day. Nobody ever said it wasn't his...
It was Russian disinformation.
Nobody went from it wasn't his laptop, it's Russian disinformation. It's the laptop doesn't even fucking exist. And those two aren't mutually exclusive. They're two different things. The fake laptop is Russian disinformation.
Whatever was in there didn't affect the president's business dealings, even though he was involved, even though the laptop was real.
No, he wasn't.
Even though it wasn't.
No, it isn't.
Disinformation.
Yes, it is.
That's how far we've come.
Also, he's taken his 5 talking points. We've seen him repeat several times. He's cut 2 out of them and just kind of squashed it together because it's not surviving. And the hardest part he has, he's dropped off the most crucial part, you'll notice, that he brought up several times in the same shirt in the same day on a bunch of different programs, which was, we've heard it hasn't affected what he's done as president. Right. That's the part that fucks this whole thing. The fact that Joe Biden is going further against China and against Russia than Trump ever thought to do means that neither have control over him. And we continue.
So I think I think there are all kinds of questions that need to be answered, and
well, call me.
We're determined to get there.
I don't know how far they get.
They're not going anywhere.
Try.
And ask him now, Bill. You have a moment. He's right there. John Paul McKay is sitting right in front of you, ish, and you have an opportunity. You have one opportunity, Bill. Ask him, would you be willing to testify to this committee under oath?
What do you think we should know? What do you think we should learn next?
What's under that hat?
Well, I have been doing everything I can and working with my legal team and Congress, members of Congress, which I'm delighted to say all of them that I've been working with got reelected. So to make sure that they have genuine, clean and pure copies of the laptop. Also, every interaction I had with the FBI, I've sent over to Congress. There's 2 fronts that I see. I see holding the FBI accountable for colluding with our mainstream and social media to block a story, a real story with real consequences.
No, none of your fucking business. Piss off. Citizen asshole. None of your, no. The FBI has a duty to warn social media companies and media companies if they have intelligence that the Russians are actually trying to fuck with our elections.
And also get to the bottom of what the Biden family was up to when Joe Biden was vice president. And I think that we have the people in Congress now. They have the resources and the tools. And I'm hoping that we're going to get some accountability.
Also, again, nothing to do with what was going on in the laptop stuff, which has to deal with business dealings from 2017 on.
Last point I would add there, you named 1 and 2. Here's what strikes me. You say American people should feel comfortable going to authorities without fear of retribution or retaliation. Is it your experience that this was retaliation?
No, fuck you. This guy's about to shit talk the FBI or the DOJ as if what was the retaliation? This dickhead makes up this bullshit story or is part of a bullshit story and is being used as a useful idiot in it.
You know, I have been dealing with retaliation from multiple fronts for the past 2 years when...
Okay. Have the Bidens retaliated against you? No. Has the FBI made good on their better keep quiet or you end up sleeping with the fishes there, Sammy? No. Getting shit talked on Twitter is not retaliation.
What I did was leaked to the country. I'm expecting it, and I'm going to expect it to continue. It's just when people are threatened, they fight back.
No, not always. And also, you're not being threatened. You're being called an asshole.
Wow. And the book...
Wow. So wow. It's just as wow as can wow.
Is out tomorrow, John Paul MacIsaac. We will speak...
And I'll buy it. We'll look through it.
Again, as this investigation unfolds, and we'll see
a digital copy.
How far they get, or do not get, sometimes as the way Congress works. Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay, yeah, cheers. Okay, anyways. Jesus Christ. What came of that? I would argue less than what happened. This guy just wrote a whole book about the whole timeline, which, by the way, differs from other tellings. We'll go through that once I get the book, because that's going to be the primary thing I'm going to use as my jumping off point, so I can grab, elements of the text and compare it to what he says in other interviews. Some of it will match up, no doubt. His legal team has been working with him to make sure that on the greater points, several of the things that he's been talking about match up. Can we do one more before the night is, because the night is young and I don't get to do a show on Wednesday. So is that a possibility? Is that okay with you guys? It's 5 o'clock already. I don't want to eat in anybody's evening, but yeah, good. Thanks, Francie. I got a lot of plane rides ahead of me. I don't think it'll take me long. This is fairly short. Wait, 1 second. Yeah, this is hey, here we go. All right. So, now, I don't know where you are right now. Welcome to the show, by the way. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. If you're just joining, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show if you can. If you can't, I'm just here to relax you. You know what I mean? I'm your lap dance that your buddy paid for. I'm just here to help you end the week or start the week on a chill note. It's a holiday. We got a lot to be thankful for. But I've been looking at the news. I've been looking at the weather reports, and the weather outside is indeed frightful. Now, when we see Glenn Beck, he's often got one of his varying action figure outfits. Right now, he is wearing a jacket made out of the blanket on Jimmy Dore's chair. But the outfit underneath is straight Keebler elf from the Keebler collection. If you'll notice, he's got his sort of semi-cravat stuffed into his sweater. I mean, there's like 5 layers. I don't know what the fuck is happening in their studio, but it must be freezing. I think he had to get the mic. I think the mic isn't white, it's frozen. So let's see. This is the title of this one is what gets me. 4 possible reasons Trump is running and 1 Glenn thinks is true. Jesus Christ. And remember when people used to say, the Republicans really got their messaging down. Democrats need to figure out how to state things concisely and get the, all right. Oh, God. Luckily, this is about 8 minutes shorter than most Glenn Beck clips, so hopefully we'll get through it fairly quickly. Give a thumbs up, subscribe. Here we go.
From the The four presidents who have tried this before.
Four presidents who've tried to run after they lost the first time, like a Nixon thing or something. I don't know if he means ran after they won before or, well, we'll figure it out.
Politico has a great article by Joshua Zeitz.
Oh, you mean mainstream media Political? Okay.
And he writes about these four presidents who have run. Only one has won. And they all have really good lessons in them. I'll share that with you coming up in just a second. There are people that have made multiple attempts, multiple tries.
Yes, attempt, try, often used as synonyms of each other, but I'm glad you decided to shorten the word down in deference to your regular listeners.
At the presidency and have failed.
Oh, fucker's yawning at his own shit. Usually he only yawns at Stu's stuff. Is there an oxygen shortage? Is someone sitting on his hose? What the ever-loving fuck? Look at it. They took a break, man. Oh, shit. Watch this. Watch the fade in on this. Holy shit. Watch it.
At the presidency and have failed. Then there's people like Joe Biden, who has been running for president, I think, since 1916.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's an old man joke, by the way, in case you wondered. But it's I think he ran for the first time in the 80s, late 80s.
Maybe.
It was not the 1916 race, but he got into the 1916 for a later race. So 1924, I think he was running for 8.
This is getting funnier. Yeah, belabor the point, Stu. That'll save it. You could have piped up earlier. They could have cut away to you when he was yawning.
For that one, which he then lost, and then he plagiarized somebody else's speech.
Yeah, but it was Calvin Coolidge, and not a lot of people didn't have the internet then. Anyway, Politico writes, whether Trump succeeds may depend on his own motivation in running. Will he do it for power, out of boredom or regret, or simply to spite the naysayers?
Gee.
The wounded president egos of the past might be a window into the mind of the most polarizing politician of our time. So they go into these four presidents, and
yes, these are the 4 stages of not being president.
It's important to remember, is he going to do it for power, out of boredom, out of regret?
He might do it just to be boring. Does that count?
Or spite. So 1840, presidential bid with Martin Van Buren.
Jesus, really? We're going to go over Van Buren?
He ran again in 1848. He lost the election. He was, I think he was Jackson's vice president. And then he went on after Jackson. Jackson said, you should be the president. And he won the president. And then he lost.
Fuck, now I'm going to start yawning. It's I know why he yawned now. He knew what he was going to say.
His re-election bid. And it's interesting because he was a Democrat, and he was clearly for slavery. And when he got into office in 1837, there was a once-in-a-lifetime financial panic, and it triggered a really deep recession.
No, that wasn't once in a lifetime. If you'll recall, a lot of people who were born around that were alive in 1920.
He was now wildly unpopular, so he lost his bid, and then
maybe it was the pro-slavery thing, right? Is this
in 1844? Van Buren attempted a comeback, but listen to this: a fiercely contested Democratic convention instead nominated James Polk of Tennessee, an ardent expansionist and proponent of slavery. Remember, it's just the Democratic Party.
Yes, before the Dixiecrats switched over to becoming Republicans. Go fuck yourself.
Many of Van Buren's supporters would nurse a long grudge against Southern Democrats for thwarting his comeback. So
don't call it a comeback.
So he's going in and he loses the bid for the Democrats. So he decides that he is going to go with his son, who started a third party, the Barn Burners.
Yeah, I don't know why that didn't last. The argument will, watch, in a couple weeks, Glenn's going to request we bring back the Barn Burner Party.
He was indifferent about slavery, and he didn't expect to win. What he was trying to do was reorder the party. He was...
Can I say for the record, don't let his outfit and his glasses fool you with this professorial charade that he's putting on. It's embarrassing. Glenn just read this shit. He didn't know any of it till he read the Politico article, and now he's acting like he knows it in a way that Stu could never comprehend, with a depth of understanding and his deep understanding of historical moments. He literally is just like telling this news story he read today.
Trying to use his power to...
If you and I went to this Politico article, if he puts it up, I'll look for it. But if you and I went to this article, guaranteed we would read a paragraph that he is shittily retelling right now.
Shift the party and still be the guy who's, the power player. He didn't win. In fact, the election went to Zachary Taylor because there was a third party. And so the Whigs took it. And then we never heard from him again.
Not a lot of people were indifferent on slavery, I feel like. I feel like that was like one you took a position on.
Yeah.
Either way.
No. Actually, there were a lot of people that were on the margins. We weren't as connected as we were back then. Some people had no interaction or understanding of it at all. Some people were so impoverished they couldn't afford this was stuff that basically Southern robber barons did. They didn't even understand the Industrial Revolution either.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of like there's a lot of people with abortion today.
No, that's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, you do. Hold on one second. Yeah, let's see. Politico, 4 traits, President, Trump, run again. I don't know. There's some shit. Yeah, here you go. That wasn't wrong. There you go. Look at this shit. Here you go. Four ex-presidents who ran again and what they mean for Trump. Only a handful of presidents have sought non-consecutive terms. Their efforts carry lessons for Donald Trump. Hold on one second. I need a, let's see, do I have some sort of hat? Something like that? I gotta find a, this will work. Only a handful of presidents have sought non-consecutive terms. Their efforts carry lessons for Donald Trump. Let's see. In just a few hours, it may very well be official. If the chattering class is right about this evening's announcement from Mar-a-Lago, for the third time in just 8 years, a presidential election will hinge largely on what voters think of Donald Trump. Do they loathe him, love him, view him as a messianic figure, or an existential threat to American democracy? Will they stomach another 4 years of chaos if they believe he has a credible plan to address inflation and crime? The next 2 years are full of unknowns. But at least one thing is certain. The once and would-be future president will almost certainly suck the air out of the room and define the terms of the debate more accurately. Trump will be the term of debate. Now, children, gather around. You'll know that this didn't turn out to be true at all. As a matter of fact, right after this article was written, Donald Trump would walk out to the podium, fill a paper bag with his own farts, pop it several times in front of the crowd. It took him 3 or 4 tries because of his tiny hands. And he would fuck up so many times during it that he had to redo parts of it later on in the week. Now, he'll also represent something rare in American political history. While many defeated kind of blah, blah, blah. Let's see where. Oh, look at that fella. I knew him personally. Martin Van Buren. I had that fucker in a headlock once. He did it for power. This other yes. So here's the story. As one of the architects of Andrew Jackson's winning presidential bid in 1828, Van Buren helped fashion what had been a loose and disparate coalition opposed of outgoing administration of President John Quincy Adams into the Democratic Party, the nation's first modern political organization. Though a combination of federal jobs and patronage, the so-called spoils system, and a policy agenda that targeted banks and moneyed interests, he stitched together a lasting political coalition of farmers, urban craftsmen, laborers, and a rising generation of immigrants, many of them Catholics from Germany and Ireland. He was also a clever operator. The rest of Jackson's cabinet snubbed War Secretary John Eaton. Based on rumors, he first became romantically involved with his wife Peggy when she was still married to her first husband. I'm her first husband. TMI. Van Buren, then serving as a Secretary of State, made a point of inviting the Eatons to several parties and appearing in public with them. John Eaton was a favorite of President Jackson, who never forgot the favor. The so-called Eaton affair helped propel the little magician to the vice presidency and ensure that he would be Jackson's handpicked successor. His luck ran out. The United States suffered a financial panic in 1837, just as Van Buren ascended to the presidency. Yes, this is the dumb version of the story that we were just hearing from Glenn Beck.
I don't know. I don't think
people will look back and be like, "Wait, you didn't take a position on babies dying?
Exactly.
There's just no.
Wait, they were chopping them up, and you were fine with
You're
that.
just like neutral,
huh? Okay,
a little Switzerland on that one, huh?
So,
ladies, if it's murder or nothing, you're a like there is no other point of view on abortion. And you cannot, and I guess, ladies and gentlemen, you are not allowed to withhold your feeling about how you would even proceed until, I guess, you're pregnant, till you have to make the decision.
Grover Cleveland.
I look good in that filter. You think I should grow a big white beard and put on eyeshadow?
Because
I think that thing has, I'm pretty sure that one has, if I'm not mistaken, a little bit of eyeliner. Yeah, it does. It's a weird little, trick there. It's not half bad. I feel like I should be working out, and then I go out and I sit in a stream full of ice water, and then I go cut some goddamn wood. Right. Okay, here we go.
Is the next one. This is 1888. He's already been president. He's
super excited.
He's running for re-election. But he's kind of, he doesn't really care.
He was indifferent on his own presidency?
He was indifferent on his own presidency.
Mm-hmm.
And so Benjamin Harrison won. And this particular election is very much like what we're facing now. It was very, very close.
This was not very, very close.
And, you didn't have a lot of swing going one way or another.
Yes, you did. This is literally the worst description of 2020 ever.
So he retires and he goes to New York City and he plays cribbage with his friends. He goes to the theater.
Oh, unless they're saying Trump lost and was because he got bored with his own presidency.
And he goes out to eat and then goes out to eat some more. He eventually weighs 300 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would take fishing trips out to Cape Cod. They'd have a hard time with the boat. But anyway.
That's a fat joke.
He then has his first child, and he's like, wow, I feel like I just started to live. And so he goes, and he tries to get nominated again. He's nominated, but then he kind of loses interest again. I guess if we just would have put food at the end, he would have. But he did win. But he won because of the tight electoral map. So during his, then the next one is Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt.
By the way, that was Grover Cleveland he was talking about.
Roosevelt decides he's only going to run 2 terms.
I don't know that he mentioned it.
He really regrets that. And he's like,
By the way, in this article, shortly after his election in 1904, he announced that he would not seek a 3rd term, effectively rendering himself a lame duck. It was a decision he would regret for years to come. Literally, this asshole is just telling this article to Stu as if he knows the whole story. Fuck, this is annoying.
Yeah, did I say? I don't think I said it. What did you say?
A lot of people get into power, and they really regret that decision, don't they?
Right. And so he comes back from
Jesus Christ. How many layers? This is like from the Steve Bannon collection.
Year in Africa, just shooting animals. What a bastard. And he's upset that the conservative Republicans had taken back over. They were like, yeah, I don't think this administrative state is really what we should be for. And so he gets very upset about that and tries to reverse the tide to be a party of, more like Mitch McConnell. And so the Republicans decide, no, we're against the administrative state. So he decides to start his own party, Bull Moose Party. He loses, but again, he lets the progressive Democrat, Woodrow Wilson, get in. So
the lesson is stay away from third parties, and if Trump runs as a third party candidate, we're fucked. The Republicans being fucked, I mean.
What do we have here?
At the end of your intellectual curiosity and your understanding of this story at all.
Last one is Hoover.
Fuck me.
And Hoover,
the most Trump-like of them all,
was a big progressive, huge progressive. You notice anything about these things?
What? Anything about these things? The last guy was a conservative. No.
He fought to win the Republican nomination.
A progressive Republican. Gia, I have to say that Glenn saying progressive Republican probably is about as exciting as Democratic slaveholder to the Republican side. Worse.
After he left.
Yeah, Hoover was not a progressive. I just think this is fucking stupid.
Left office. He starts to come back, and he wants to come back, 1940. And the Republicans this time decide they want an even more progressive Republican.
And so the lesson is that anybody who tells you the Democrats and the Republicans of that time didn't switch sides is a fucking lunatic.
And so they get Wendell Willkie, and neither one of them win. So the lesson here is,
oh boy, wrap this shit up, because I don't even know where the fuck you're going.
Martin Van Buren's second run. It was about regaining or retaining power.
Okay, the article says this, fuckstick. It literally, look, you want to see? This is so stupid. This is the article. The title of each section. Hold on, let me do the first one. He did it for power. He did it out of boredom. He did it out of regret. He did it out of spite.
Not just the power of the presidency, but the lasting control of a movement and a party that renders Trump a defining force on the world stage. I personally think he already has that.
Nope.
If
Dude, Matt Gaetz was just on Newsmax saying that Trump couldn't lock up the speakership in the Republican Party. The fucking Speaker of the House.
Like Grover Cleveland, and like, how many games of golf can I play? And there's not enough all-you-can-eat buffets.
By the way, that's not why Trump started doing it. He's not bored with golf and eating.
I don't want to weigh 300 pounds.
I don't want to wait for our lunch to be over.
Then it's his for the taking, like 1892.
Is that his cholesterol count, or?
Probably, according to Politico, has to do with regret. We know from recent reporting that Trump and those in his orbit fault themselves for letting the judiciary, civil service, and political class thwart many of their ambitions.
That's right. They regret other people's fuck-ups.
They relish a second crack at it. And he might, be a little upset. So there might be a little spite.
Spite was the fourth one, by the way. He didn't mention that. I thankfully found the article and could tell you what it was. But this is why this asshole needs a chalkboard.
But he won't win if it's spite. I personally think.
You don't think he could run on a ticket of spite? I mean, that's what MAGA's asking for. Like, if there was one emotion that defined MAGA, it's spite.
That it's none of these things, because I've talked to him.
It's just America. It's just hope.
And
it's just the dreamy dreams of a dreaminess.
Talking to him, he said something that was off camera, but very, very humble.
Yeah, he would never say anything humble on camera, but we'll take your word for it.
Shockingly so. And very heartfelt.
I wish it had been on camera, because you're just going to have to trust me that's like the stuff we got on camera. He's just a complete shit. But once you turn the cameras off, oh my God, there's just something. I wish people could see it. He also doesn't do it when there's other people in the room. Yeah.
When I talked to him, he said, "I can't believe what they're doing to the country."
Are you kidding me? That's him trying to manipulate you. That's the phrase. I can't believe what they're trying to do to the country. And by country, I mean me. They raided the country. They spied on the country. Whatever.
I mean, we had this. We had it fixed. We were on the right track. And
right. That's his ego again, dummy.
They have just destroyed it.
Ugh, it's terrible. Have you seen? Look, hold on. Let me see it. I got to check oil prices. I got to check oil prices. They got to be the worst they've ever been. Like Trump said the other day, they're high and they're going to keep going up. It's going to be terrible. And where is it? Where's the primary? Come on now. Here you go. I guess I'll look at this page to find the latest ones. WTI crude which is the baseline, is $79.73. Brent's 87. Tokyo is here. This one's natural gas down 2% right here. Brent crude's up. The sweet stuff they could charge more for, but the gunk stuff that goes everywhere else below $80. You were saying?
In less than 2 years. And
this is the same shit he says on stage. What are you talking about?
He said, this is the part that I think this is why he's running.
This is it. One thing Glenn thinks is true.
I can't live with myself seeing all the millions of faces that I have talked to, and I promised I would fix it and stand up for them. After they stood up for me, how am I going to sit down and watch the country burn to the ground when I know I can help them?
Oh my God. Because I magically can fix it. There's nothing humble about that. It's just as egotistical as everything else he fucking said. What are you talking about? He said humbly, how can I, as their one true Messiah, how can I sit there and watch as the whole country burns without my guidance and look them in their child faces? Hi. Hello. Hold on one second. I have a guest and a visitor. Hold on. Hi, buddy.
Which one am I? Which one am I?
It's hard to tell. And you're the guest. He's the visitor. Now he's the guest and you're the visitor. Yeah. Love you. Look, a boy. Look at the boy. Hi. How are you? Don't fool her. Hold on. He got treats aplenty.
Oh, yeah, because he was just...
He got some tuna fish.
What?
He did. I ate all the tuna fish and then, yeah, all of it in one fell swoop. And he was like on the table. He was on the chair. He was like, what does that smell? What does it smell? What is it? And he's like, you are a crazy boy.
Look at those rolls.
Huh? Don't make fun of, don't fat shame Chip while I'm in the room. It's not right.
Can I order you food or are you okay?
Oh, well, that was a shock. I got static built up from Chip's fur. Ow.
Shock me.
Summer, I had shock noses. Ow.
If I order food, would you like something?
Yes, I'm almost done. I've got a couple more minutes and then I'll figure something out. So.
Do you want me to just want me to order?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I trust you. I'm going to regret that. I know it.
When he said last night the most important line, this is not my campaign, this is our campaign.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's the first politician. Where does he come up with this stuff? Jesus Christ. Does Trump say anything that Bob Roberts didn't say? Have you guys watched Bob Roberts? You guys have you ever seen the movie Bob Roberts? It's probably one of the most shockingly accurate portrayals of a Trump-like character in American politics. And it's, yeah, Bob Roberts is amazing. But most of the shit, seriously, most of the shit that you've actually seen Trump say, it could be copped directly from that. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Well, if I play a trailer or anything, I'll get a copyright strike. But go, if you haven't seen it, Tim Robbins stars in it, Bob Roberts, and it's a dark comedy in some ways, but it reminds me of like a dark comedy version of Martin Sheen's character in The Dead Zone. Like a full movie about that guy. So, yeah. It's political satire, but it's fucking biting, and it's great. It's a great movie. And the ending is fantastic. Watch his foot at the tail end of the movie. That's all I'm going to say. I think Trump is a version of Hitler. You're giving him way too much credit. Nope. Thanks, Nick. So here, hold on. Let me jump back in because you guys are here. There you go. Thanks, Can't Stop Lying. It's a great movie. Bob Roberts, yes. And Hitler's his idol. Yeah, but it's not necessarily his idol. He just thinks he can learn from him. That's a totally different thing. So again, be careful about those kind of comparisons. It's a little short. Trump actually lines up more with Mussolini. What he thought he could learn, and all these sycophants, by the way, are all trying to capture the magic of Hitler. Because the idea was, imagine being a good guy and capturing the magic of Hitler, how he could control people. Well, you got to factor in that he had an army of people just below him who would fucking kill people if they didn't do what they were told. It's the same thing that happens with Kim Jong-un or Xi Jinping. Like at a certain point, or the mullahs in Iran or any of that shit, that you need a layer below that of people who will enforce your kind of messianic performance art. That's true of all the cults too. Jim Jones had a layer below him. David Koresh had like 4 or 5 guys who were the enforcers at the place. You can't do it without that shit. And that's one of the things, thank God, that a lot of these people miss. Is that they don't, and it's because they surround themselves with people who are, equally as power hungry instead of, like Manson had Squeaky Fromme, they need those kind of people, and they find a few of them, but they've got to be willing to sacrifice themselves. And none of the people who clamor to the type of person Trump is, they're all hedonists. It's the same thing with Russian oligarchs. There's a certain line you can't go below. They're not going to do the Nazi thing and die for the cause, because the cause at itself is how many blowjobs can I get and how much grease and food can I consume and how big can my house be. So their own greed in some ways saves us all from the worst aspects of their personality. They may have, even the leader of the Wagner group is a fucking hedonist asshole. If he was a true believer like Goebbels or something like that, things would be way worse in Ukraine. Can I please do one more, Coretta? Summer's ordering dinner, but I maybe. Hold on one second. Yes, I do have this one. And this is kind of a nice mix. This is short-ish. One of the funniest, if I may, and this is for Loretta because she cash apps. This is, which I appreciate. By the way, Venmo's right there. Like, subscribe, support the show, patreon.com/HalSparks. We're launching a new, resurfacing. We're going to change the backsplash on Patreon after this holiday weekend, and wish me luck. Meanwhile, because I want to do more stuff that's more integrated with that and with the gatherings that we have along in the tiers. We'll talk about that later. But so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. There's a show that I did a couple of times. Once, I don't know, they cut it up into multiple episodes, so technically a couple times, but I only had to film once. This was Comics Unleashed. Byron Allen has the show, and I've said many times, this is one of the most leashed versions of comedy you can fucking do, because you have to write out your bits and tell them exactly what you're going to say, and they need to know the sentence when you're over. It's so contrived and cartoonishly square and annoying, but and they pay shit, and Byron Allen just prints money. It's hilarious off of other people's material. Literally, I remember it was one of the few times where you realize you're just basically feathering someone else's nest. They just it's like when you do a commercial, and comedians run into this all the time. If you get hired to do a commercial, they always go, have fun with it. And what they mean is, write something for us. Write a funnier line that we can use. And since you made it up while you were hired, then it's technically ours. Basically, Byron Allen builds his shows on that. It's horrifying. Stop it. Byron, you seem like a nice enough guy. Don't. If you're going to have a show called Comics Unleashed, let a comedian host it, like a real touring comic. I don't know what Byron thinks he is these days. Mogul, sure. And then let it be a back and forth so that it's funny. Because it's not. Anyway, so when I see a show called Unfiltered, my antenna go up. And Dan Bongholio, the host of this show, is always complaining that he's almost ready to swear. I wish I could say what I wanted to say. I'm like, well, they don't call the show Unfiltered, fucknut. So my show's Unfiltered. See how that works? All right. Now, this one, I don't know what the fuck's going on here. Dan Bongino, Biden keeps winning the lucky lottery. Because is he going Teflon Biden? Is that the theory? Okay.
Biden's the worst president in U.S. history. I think we already agree on that. Everybody's got to agree on that. Fucking infrastructure. Why won't he leave the lead pipes in the ground? Who the fuck wants broadband out in the fucking sticks? What do we want a bunch of rednecks to be able to get jobs and grow and become tech moguls in the future from a fucking house in Montana? Get the fuck out of there, you redneck bastards. Already know that, but
no, we don't.
Guess what? He is easily the luckiest too. I'm going to break it down for you. This guy's been politically rescued again and again and again for decades.
He's breaking it down for us. Break it down for us. Break it down. He's not going to break it down like that.
And now he's hoping Americans fall for the grift again. Don't miss my monologue in this and how Biden...
I'm already over it. And what do you mean, don't miss your monologue? Is this your teaser before the graphic? You really have to talk people into staying for your show?
He keeps winning the lucky lottery. It's eerie. And speaking of hot takes, Nancy Pelosi's grip on power is finally, thankfully, coming to an end. As Republicans take control, we take...
She's 80.
A little trip down memory lane for some of Nancy's greatest hits. Plus, a crypto exchange...
Greatest what? Sorry? I didn't hear that.
Goes belly up. But not...
A crypto exchange goes belly up.
Before its boss donated millions to top Democrats. And
millions. He lost $17 billion, but because he donated millions. By the way, it's because Republicans are all in on crypto. They want it deregulated and they don't want any controls on it. They just want it to let its freak flag fly. Meanwhile, Democrats lean towards regulation. So this dude was literally trying to lobby Democrats to go easy on the regulations. He knew where he was spending his money. It wasn't because he likes Democrats necessarily, although he lived in an island apartment with his nerdy girlfriend and their 17 polyamorous friends or whatever the shit millionaire doofus crypto idiots would.
And then lost billions in customer funds.
Customer funds. They lost billions in customer funds. No, he didn't. It was a shit investment to start with. It was stupid. You guys got fucking handed your ass because you handed someone your ass.
So how does this keep happening, and how deep does this corruption go? Also,
yeah, let's hear about it. You mean crypto in general?
So, we warned you about this, folks.
Uh-oh.
The FBI's use of a controversial spyware program known as Pegasus set off alarms with me. Could they be using it to track you? I warned you about it.
No.
The FBI whistleblowers here on how the Bureau is flirting with tyranny. Plus, this week...
Flirting with tyranny, which is, I have to say, one of the edgier Hallmark movies.
The Fox Nation Patriot Awards happened. We honored heroes. But there's a lot you didn't see.
Thank God. I missed you taking some of these sweet honeys home.
Like me, I met up with some true patriots and, of course, familiar faces at the awards. And
hey, we're just standing here. Look at this. We're video. And you're there. And I'm here. Look at this. Isn't that great? This is so cool. That's flag stuff. And here we are. And then it was like, I feel like I know what it was like.
Ask them about the Democrats' fantasy land. It's hilarious. Don't miss it. Folks, listen, Joe Biden is the luckiest politician in the history of American politics. There's not even a close thing. There's no silver medalist.
Well, I mean, he did beat, I guess, technically the unluckiest politician. I mean, well, Donald Trump was only unlucky in one area, just one, being born himself.
How else would you explain the biggest political grifter of all time dodging the equivalent of a political nuclear blast, not once, not twice, but basically every couple years?
Oh, you mean like a pussy grabbing tape or, 17 credible sexual assault victims coming forward, one being a 13-year-old girl, that kind of stuff? Or
as always, I'm here to prove it to you. I don't just make stuff up.
Yeah, let's do it. You don't just make stuff up. This stuff's unfiltered.
When Joe Biden ran for president in 1988, he was the same old dog with the same old awful tricks back then. The same tricks we're seeing now. Biden was caught then plagiarizing parts of his speeches. Here's the thing, almost word for word. They weren't even clever about it from the Kennedy brothers' speeches from the 60s.
Oh, by the way, unless you're going to say he did it again and didn't learn his lesson as a young politician, then this doesn't apply.
You can't make this up.
Sure you can.
It cannot measure the health of our children, the quality of our education, the joy of their play.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play.
By the way, some of that stuff was directly quoted from a Catholic priest that they all listen to, because they're all Catholics. The Kennedys were Catholics, he's Catholic, that kind of stuff. Hold on. And...
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life. That your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them, and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They taught and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
And Barack and I...
Guys, you can't... Hold on 1 second. I have to do this... where are we? Hold on. Guys, you can't even make this stuff up. You can't I don't make this stuff up. You guys don't make this stuff up. Come on now. I'm Joe Brogan.
Set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation, because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because
yes, she did do it better than you. So thanks for those people for applauding.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Let us play.
Guys, you can't even make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Biden was doing this back.
Before we begin
shut up. Biden was doing this back in 1987, and it took Melania like fucking 30 years.
Pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price, bear any burden, accept any challenge, and meet any hardship to secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children.
Yeah, never mind the fact that that was a well-known quote and that you shouldn't even have to tell people it came from that. There's no excuse, right?
We shall pay any price.
Right.
Bear any burden.
That was the point of quoting it, by the way. He didn't get busted for that one. Because everybody's like, everybody knows he's referencing it. Like, if you came out and went, it's a dream we all share. A dream where, that I have and everyone has. Like, I have a dream today.
Any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
Again, this is 1987, right?
You know the best part about that whole thing? He didn't plagiarize a speech from like Joey Bag of Donuts. He plagiarized it from the president of the United States at the time, as if no one was going to know. But he.
It was. By the way, I don't know if you guys don't know this, but Kennedy was dead in 1987. He was not the president at the time.
Did it again in 1988. He plagiarized during his days in law school too. Everybody.
No, he didn't. Joe Biden wasn't in law school in 1987.
But he's stunned, I'm sure. The guy.
That's from the same time period, stupid. Jesus Christ. The reading comprehension, it's like somebody put his fucking head in a vice.
Keeps doing the same thing over and over. He keeps getting rescued.
No, this was the same incident.
Another shocker, right? When he ran for president in 2020, his campaign, quote, lifted language from other groups for their policy budgets. Yeah, it's called plagiarism. Old dog.
It's called plagiarism?
Old tricks.
Plagiarism.
Has this guy ever had an original idea in his life? Oh, wait, check that. Don't give him any more ideas. Of course, listen, you know how...
Yeah, no, we were with you. I like the aside. I didn't know what... just because you don't want him to think up anything, because what he's thought up that he hasn't thought up is already too much to be thought of.
The story goes, right? So Biden dropped out of that 1988 race. And as luck would have it, in 2008, Barack Obama takes a lifeline. Joe, catch the lifeline. I got you, buddy. And he rescues this plagiarist and grifter by throwing him this lifeline and unbelievably putting him on the Democrat ticket, getting Joe Biden back into the spotlight. Here's what Obama was likely figuring.
Also, that's not luck or a rescue. That was to help him with a specific group of white working class voters and Catholics who are pro-choice but pro-life. That was strategically really fucking smart. And you can tell because they got elected and re-elected.
He didn't want someone to take away any of his steam inside the White House, so he figured, get the plagiarist and the grifter, people will ignore him. Never thinking he'd actually run for office again. Joe Biden, the luckiest politician easily in the history of American politics.
By the way, he was a senator. He'd been reelected multiple times. He knew the Senate backwards and forwards. He was actually good at his job.
So let's fast forward to the 2020 Democratic primary.
All right. just because he actually runs and wins in these particular situations. And by the way, he was a bit lucky to be running against Donald Trump, who's a massive fuck up and totally gross.
Right. Biden was getting wrecked in the polls. Wrecked. It looked like it
No, he wasn't.
was over for Joey B.
No, it didn't.
But Captain Lucky's back again. The Democrats are ready to give Joe the boot. But as luck would have it, what happens?
He had relationships that were deeper than politics, and friendships that were more long-lasting, and trust that he'd built over decades, and it paid off. It beat all the people who were just building an image on the fly because he had one that people stood by, and that's why Clyburn liked him so much.
Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina steps up to the plate, batter up, kids, and endorses him.
Yeah, not because of grift, not because of graft, not because he had to, but because he actually believed in him. That's what changed. And by the way, that Clyburn, knew his constituents liked Biden the best. And the fact that like Trump and others thought they were going to run, against Biden because of the crime bill. They were going to use the crime bill as leverage against him, when indeed, like black mayors and the Congressional Black Caucus, as it existed at the time, was for the crime bill at the time. There's that these communities are a lot more realistic than people give them credit for.
And he saved the grifter and plagiarist again. And just like that, Biden surged to the nomination.
What I was trying to do with my speech was to create a surge.
You gave Biden's campaign new life, and if it were not for you, I don't think he would have gotten the nomination.
Oh, well, if Jake Tapper says it, then Fox believes it.
Those moments with this campaign was at its lowest ebb. The African-American community stood up again for me.
It's true. They did. Because he knew he would stand up for them.
Folks, listen, don't take my word for it. Even the liberal bootlickers in the media said Clyburn's endorsement rescued Biden's disastrous run. So first, Obama rescued.
First of all, it wasn't a disastrous run at all. It was the timing of it, because they knew he would not, that the caucuses would be rigged one direction because of Bernie really fighting for that to try and get the first lift. And then some of the new blood was fighting for like, okay, maybe if I can nail down like 3 states. They were fighting that kind of thing. And Biden was fighting the long game of this. That he knew if he secured a huge chunk of the black vote because they trusted him, that he would be able to also secure the white working class Dems to feel safe around him. And that coalition would be bigger than anybody else's. And it was. Like I said it would be.
Used Biden from the political wasteland in 2008. Then Clyburn goes and rescues him again in 2020. Again, Joe Biden is the single luckiest politician in the history of politics.
You left out the fact that he got to run against Donald Trump, who was a skeevy, disgusting old fart.
No one has ever had it easier than this guy. He fails and people.
His wife and daughter were killed in a car accident, and his boys were in the hospital when he was sworn in for his first job as a congressman. He took a train to and from Washington until they graduated fucking high school because he didn't want to be away from his kids because their mother had fucking died. Why don't you bring that luck up, you prick? Like, at a certain point, piss off. Hey, Dan. You chintzy piece of shit. Why don't you bring up the fact that his wife and daughter were killed in a fucking car accident? That his son got fucking brain cancer from being near a burn pit in fucking Iraq? Why don't you stack that with your fucking luck? The luckiest guy in politics. Jesus Christ. Part of the appeal of Joe Biden for a lot of voters is that he's gotten it in the gut harder than so many other people, and he's managed to stay positive and try to stay in public service, and he's actually made something of himself. When he would have had every excuse in the world to crawl in a fucking hole and like work a menial job and stay away from everybody.
He'll save him. But he still needed to win the presidency. So in 2020, his scandal-ridden son with a drug issue, Hunter Biden, also known as the smartest guy Joe knows.
He's made more money than you'll ever make in your life, Bongholio. And in all fairness, Hunter never started a social media company and then used the demo version of a software for its security and was responsible for the single largest dump of user information in tech history.
More on that later, by the way. He had this,
no doubt.
This laptop hard drive.
A laptop hard drive. That's interesting. Where did did the hard drive come out of the laptop? Where did this hard drive come from?
And some of the stuff on there was not safe for 9 o'clock TV on Saturday.
Okay, you mean it's not safe for unfiltered? Again, can this motherfucker do a show once? One episode of Unfiltered where he doesn't complain about how filtered the fucking thing is. Jesus Christ.
Saturday night. And the FBI was investigating, so someone had to rescue Joe yet again.
Twitter facing criticism after limiting the reach of a New York Post story about alleged smoking gun emails showing Hunter Biden introducing his father to a Ukrainian businessman.
This time, social media outlets were quick to limit the spread of the story.
And by the way, it was the Streisand effect. It actually drew more attention to it. Nobody was denied the story. The New York Post site didn't come down. And by the way, the Post story turned out to be bullshit. But the idea was flood it, 6 weeks of bullshit right before the election as an October surprise. That'll get us through. And by the time people find out it was bullshit, they've already made their decision. That's why the moratorium on political, snipe issues leading up to it, because it's so easy to do now, especially for people who want to, foreign countries who want to interfere in our elections.
Twitter briefly suspending the accounts of the Trump campaign and White House press secretary after they tried to share it.
So after Biden wins,
Washington Post joins New York Times in finally admitting emails from Hunter Biden laptop are real. Also a bullshit story. New York Times story. I covered the Washington Post when it came out. You'll see the floating bullshit picture around. I went through it paragraph by paragraph. No, they did not, by the way. That headline is a lie.
Media outlets like the Washington Post and New York Times finally admit, oh, yeah, those Hunter Biden emails and the laptop, oh, yeah, they were definitely legit. Little late.
Nope.
Fellas.
No, they don't. Read the articles.
No, we said after the election. That's kind of important. But the damage, folks, it was already done, okay?
Well, here's the other thing. Hold on, wait.
In fact, polls show one in...
Yeah, this is the thing that Trump cites all the time. That 17% would, had they known about what was on the laptop, they would have changed their mind, whatever.
6 Biden voters, they would have changed their vote had they known about Biden's family scandals. So
yeah, a Federalist poll. Nonsense.
Biden had to be rescued yet again. And who comes up big out of the bullpen? Don't worry, big tech. Because Joe Biden is the luckiest politician in American history.
Okay, so it's lucky. It's not the Biden crime family. He's just got a leprechaun.
So what's his next act, Biden? Well, he's already let down Gen Z voters.
Has he?
Who came to their rescue again in the midterms. They did. Joe's final pitch was, vote for us, don't worry. We'll pay off your student loans and stuff and codify Roe v. Wade. We've got you. But that didn't turn out so well either. Even Joe admits the Dems aren't going to be able to get the votes together.
Yeah, that wouldn't stop some pro-choice Republicans from coming over and voting for it. It's just they have to deal with the fact that it is now a partisan issue to codify Roe v. Wade.
To codify Roe v. Wade.
Right.
Or codify abortion. It's not going to happen.
You don't codify abortion. You codify medical privacy for women.
And I'll tell you what, it ain't looking good either for the student loan promise. Not only have the courts called the bailout illegal, but the Biden administration may extend the student loan payment pause. No matter how bad this guy performed.
Demise of student loan handout rocks Twitter. Its only purpose was to buy votes. Gabriel, that's their article. That's your site, fuckhead.
Folks. Did you ever notice this? It's never his fault. And as luck would have it, the media's coming to his rescue by actively promoting and failing to push back on the lies that the midterms were some historic success for Biden. How is that?
Well, because in most midterms, the first-term president loses a shit ton of seats. And not only did they not lose the Senate, and they're going to have it by 51 because Warnock's going to fucking win in December. But, and like I said, the lead the Republicans have in the House will not last. But that said, you were supposed to take it, man. It was a red wave. Remember red wave, red tsunami? I mean, hold on one second. I don't think, though, hold on. Sorry. Let's see. Let's see. Well, we'll just do this. Hold on.
Now, I can't say for sure where the rumors of the red tsunami started because polls in almost every key race were within the margin of error.
Yeah, that's after.
Red wave rising. That is the focus of tonight's angle.
It's going to be a wave election, and you're going to lose the Senate, and I'll bet you $1,000 right now.
The knives are being sharpened right now for Joe Biden.
You know, Democrats are going to get crushed on November 8th because a red wave is coming.
But I'm betting that Joy will learn 2 new words on Tuesday. It's red wave.
How big could that looming red wave get?
We begin this Sunday morning with expectations of a red wave this Tuesday. I think this election is going to be a red wave. I think we're going to win.
You know what? I think, your predictions of a red wave are accurate. And the reason I say that is because now even the mainstream media is catching up.
We've been hearing, is it going to be a red wave? Is it going to be a red tsunami? I think it's going to be a red hurricane.
By the way, Mark Thiessen's jumping all over the Hunter Biden laptop story as well, because it's a great way to hide your fuck up around the red wave.
Red wave comes, and it is coming. Joe Biden's political utility is over.
Are we in for a red wind here or a red wave?
Red wave or red tsunami? What are you feeling today?
I'm feeling red wave.
And don't listen to the lies they're spewing that this could take days, to know who.
Or days.
Won. This is total BS. A wave like this, we should know that night, basically.
That night, folks.
Basically, who won the Senate and the House. Anything that happens Wednesday into Thursday is gravy.
And right out the
gravy. I agree. Like Katie Porter.
Back door, I've got a tropical storm brewing right now. I think they're saying could be a Category 1 by the end of the day. However, let me tell you what is a storm, that red wave. I'm telling you, if there's any indication based upon what we're seeing this morning, somebody made a surfboard, said the red wave is coming.
Well, a surfboard, then fuck me. That's all you need. There's got to be, hold on. We got to find, hold on. 1 second. See, I do a short thing. Let's see. Where are you? Bangholio. Where are you? Come out, wherever you are, counselor. Oh, it's probably on Rumble. Fuck. Never mind.
They're calling them a win for him and the Democrats.
Yeah. Yeah. He literally has the best numbers since Kennedy. Remember the guy he plagiarized?
It's enormously significant. Historically, this is something no president's done since John F. Kennedy.
Yeah. Here you go, Bongino. Add this to your pile. He's plagiarizing wins from Kennedy.
Hold Senate seats and potentially even go up 1 Senate seat.
President Biden has been a great president for our country. He has accomplished so much. He has just done so many things that are so great.
Obviously, these midterms didn't go well for Republicans. Obviously, it was good for the Biden administration.
Who was the winner? It was Joe Biden. Let's not forget, every single person he endorsed, almost every single person won.
He lost the House.
Yeah, by 2 votes, fucko, because of redistricting in New York and Florida. Without that, he'd have kept it. Don't be lazy about this. Just take the L, you fucking chump.
I don't understand what this guy did. All right, it wasn't the...
I don't know what he kept the fucking Senate. It's what he did, dummy. So all of his judges, including a possible Supreme Court seat, can go through. They're not only... They gained a fucking seat. They're going to go from 50 to 51. He's still going to have Warnock. I guarantee it. So, voting power won't change all that much. And the Republicans in the Senate especially will deal with the fact that they've got to do some bipartisan shit or they're not going to get reelected.
Greatest election for Republicans, point stipulated. But what did Biden do?
His policies, largely, they had shit to run on, like the infrastructure bill, like the rescue package, like getting lead pipes out and rural broadband.
He sat in
the CHIPS Act
basement again, visited a couple states here and there, and many of the candidates avoided this guy like they avoid the plague or something.
It's nice that he has a grasp of standard analogies.
So in closing, Obama...
Oh, please, thank you. That's the nicest thing he said in this whole thing.
Rescued Biden. Jim...
Obama didn't rescue Biden. He was a sitting senator. He was doing just fine.
Clyburn rescued Biden.
No, he didn't. He gave him an endorsement. It was very meaningful, but Clyburn's own voters were already with Biden. He just gave him the go-ahead.
Big Tech rescued Biden.
No, they didn't. You had an attempted October surprise that failed.
Media rescued Biden. Folks, it's no wonder. Joe Biden...
He wraps this up because it's like a little essay. I'm just going to end it with the thing that I say at the beginning. Joe Biden is the luckiest politician in the history of America. Thank you, teacher. Get A.
Is the luckiest politician and the biggest grifter in political history, no doubt.
Well, for the record, if you're going to talk about grifting, one of the things that's crucial about grifting, dipshit, is that you have to run on something and then not do it. Biden ran on getting us out of Afghanistan. We're out of Afghanistan. By hook or by crook, we're fucking gone. And Trump has admitted since he lost that he was never going to get out anyways. We're going to keep Bagram. Biden passed the first infrastructure bill in 26 fucking years. The biggest single leap forward in internet since they turned it loose. Just the removal of lead pipes from water systems and the ventilation on schools and the like restructuring of those buildings will save children's lives for decades. So fuck off. And the rescue package alone was the biggest rescue package in American history. Also, again, gas prices keep coming down. Inflation's coming down. It has nothing to do. It's not inflation. It's supply shock, and that's partly out of their hands. But part of it is bringing the supply chains home. The CHIPS Act alone, and CHIP, is the single biggest technological flag in the ground that America has had since steel, since America commanded the steel market in the early 19th century.
Period.
20th century.
Cherry on top.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
Period. Cherry. What?
In political history, no doubt. Period. Cherry on top.
Hey.
Okay. Nobody says cherry on top after the word period. Second, nobody says no doubt. Period. Cherry on top. I don't even understand the language there. But I mean, honestly, do any of us know what he actually said? Because it was so heavily filtered. I love you guys. Okay, I stayed longer. I'm going to try and see if I can dump some of you folks over to one of the other shows that's up. Give me a second before I leap over. Do. Give it a second before we do. Oh, yeah. Midas Touch is on. So I'm going to send you guys over to Midas Touch. Give them my love. Tell them the sparklers say hi. And on that note, oh, we're already rating it. Good. Look at that. We've already done it. Okay. Take care. And I will see you guys soon. Send them my love. There we go. All right. I'm off. Peace. Love you guys. By the way, even though Midas Touch isn't live, their show is pre-taped or whatever. They do monitor the chat. They're there, so they're they're running it that way. They just didn't need to be able to edit it for whatever purpose. So you can still say hi to them and tell them I said hi and all that fun stuff. And yeah, okay, bye. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Thank you guys. Thank you, Deanne. Thank you, Melissa. That was fantastic. Happy 65th. Joy. Thank you so much. Michael, thank you for subscribing. Steve, thanks for being a member. Much love. Okay, bye. Trying to. All right. Bye.